You are not weak. You are not waiting. You are creating. Manifestation is not about forcing reality. It's about remembering your role as the co-creator of it. Beloved, every word you speak is a seed. Every thought you repeat becomes a root. And every emotion you sustain becomes the fruit that shows up in your reality. You are not powerless in this universe. You are the very vibration that moves creation forward. The same energy that shapes galaxies lives inside you. It listens to your motion. It answers your tone. Say softly, "Every word I speak shapes my world. Every thought I nurture writes my destiny. Every feeling I choose becomes my tomorrow." You were never meant to beg the universe for blessings. You were meant to command them. Gently, faithfully, and in love. The law of divine command is the first truth of manifestation. It says what you declare with conviction must come to pass. In the unseen realm, words are not soundness. Each word vibrates like a current of light. When you say, "I am," the universe listens closely. It waits for what comes next, because every "I am" statement is not a description. It's a direction. Say softly, "I am abundant. I am favored. I am divinely guided." Each of those declarations is a spiritual command. They are not wishes. They are instructions to creation. They are laws taking shape through your tongue. But when you speak carelessly, you command confusion. When you speak fear, you call for lack. When you say, "I am tired, I am unlucky, I am lost," the universe says, "As you wish." Beloved, the power of the tongue is sacred. It is the scepter of the soul. You cannot hold a crown of abundance while cursing your own name. You cannot manifest light while speaking darkness. You must choose your words as if they are royal decrees, because they are. Say softly, "My words are holy. My speech is sacred. I use my voice as divine command." The law does not respond to begging, it responds to believing. It does not obey doubt, it obeys direction. Your vibration is the tone that heaven tunes to. When you speak from fear, your tone trembles. When you speak from faith, your tone commands. You don't have to shout for the universe to listen. You only have to speak with certainty. Say softly, "I speak calmly. I speak clearly. I speak with divine authority." Remember, you are not asking for power. You are the power. You are the expression of God in human form. And your words are miniature acts of creation. You are not praying to a distant deity. You are awakening the infinite within you. Every time you say, "I am," you activate the creative law inside your soul. "I am" is the language of God, and when you speak it consciously, you align your human vibration with divine intelligence. Say softly, "I am one with divine mind. I am a conscious creator. I am a manifesting powerhouse." Feel how those words shift your energy. They open your chest, steady your breath, lift your vibration. This is how you begin manifestation. Not through fear, but through remembrance of who you are. The world has taught you to be careful of what you say, but heaven teaches you to be intentional with what you say. Carefulness is fear. Intentionality is faith. When you speak with divine intention, your words stop being requests. They become reality in motion. Say softly, "Every word I speak moves the universe into alignment. Every sentence I affirm sends light ahead of me. My voice creates pathways for miracles." When you say, "I am healthy," you awaken health within the cells of your body. When you say, "I am wealthy," you awaken opportunity in your surroundings. When you say, "I am peace," you calm storms before they reach you. That is the sacred geometry of words. Each vibration finds its match in form. Beloved, manifestation begins with awareness. You must become aware of what you speak. Notice the tone of your self-talk. Notice the language you use about money, love, and time. Every complaint is a small command to repeat the problem. Every blessing spoken is a small miracle already on its way. Say softly, I cancel every careless word. I bless every new declaration. Only good leaves my lips. If you could see your words as colors, you'd speak only in gold and light. If you could see them as seeds, you'd plant only what you want to harvest. So speak today as the gardener of your destiny. Say softly, I plant words of wealth. I plant words of joy. I plant words of divine success. Then trust the law of growth. Every divine command you speak is heard, recorded, and multiplied. No vibration is ever lost. No decree of faith ever disappears. Your words echo in the unseen until they find the perfect form. And when the time is right, they appear as answered prayers, not because you begged, but because you believed. Say softly, I speak once in faith, and the universe responds forever. Beloved, you are the ruler of your reality. You have been given the authority to shape energy with speech. That is why silence feels powerful. Because even when you do not speak aloud, your inner words are still commanding. Guard your thoughts like treasures. Let only love, faith, and expectancy occupy them. Say softly, my thoughts are peaceful. My words are powerful. My manifestations are perfect. From this moment on, speak not as one who hopes, but as one who knows. You are the voice of divine creation clothed in human form. The universe recognizes you. It awaits your next command. So declare with confidence, I am powerful beyond measure. I am guided by infinite wisdom. I am a manifesting powerhouse. Repeat until your spirit believes it. Repeat until your cells remember it. Repeat until the vibration leaves your lips and becomes your life. You are not learning to manifest, you are remembering that you already do. Every heartbeat is a command. Every breath is creation in motion. Every word you speak is the universe taking shape around you. Say softly, one final decree. I command with love, I create with peace. I manifest with certainty, under grace and in perfect timing. And so it is. Beloved, there is a vibration more powerful than any action, more magnetic than any plan, and more creative than any strategy. It is the vibration of certainty. Faith is not a hope. Faith is not a wish. Faith is the knowing before the showing. It is the quiet confidence that says, it is done, even while the world still says, I can't see it. Say softly, I believe before I see. I know before it shows. I trust before it arrives. The wealthy, the peaceful, the powerful, they all have one thing in common. They live in the energy of certainty. They don't wonder if their vision will manifest. They simply prepare for when. Certainty is the key that unlocks divine law. Doubt delays it. Fear freezes it. But faith moves it, instant, silently, perfectly. Say softly, faith is my frequency. Certainty is my power. Confidence is my magnet. You do not manifest by begging for what you want. You manifest by believing it already belongs to you. The energy of certainty turns thought into matter, vibration into form, and imagination into reality. Beloved, imagine your desire as a signal sent out into the universe. If your energy says, maybe, the universe cannot read it clearly. But when your energy says, it is done, everything rushes to arrange itself around that truth. That is the secret of magnetic manifestation. It is not about controlling the how. It is about feeling the doneness. It is done. It is done. It is already done. Repeat it until your heart calms. Repeat it until your mind stops questioning. Repeat it until peace becomes your proof. Because peace is the sound of faith. When you no longer panic about time. When you no longer chase what's yours. When you no longer doubt the process. That's when manifestation moves swiftly. Faith does not strain. Faith surrenders. Faith does not argue. Faith accepts. Faith does not say, I will believe when I see. Faith whispers, I will see because I believe. Say softly, I walk by faith, not by sight. I trust divine order. I believe in perfect timing. Beloved, faith is not something you try. It's something you embody. It is not a thought, it's a vibration. And vibration never lies. You can speak affirmations all day, but if you speak them from fear, they are just words. But when you speak them from certainty, they become law. Say softly, I no longer hope for miracles. I live inside them. I no longer ask for blessings. I expect them. A faith is invisible power at work. It is the currency of the spiritual realm. When you pay in faith, the universe delivers in form. Just like you trust a seed to grow in soil, trust your words to grow in spirit. You don't dig up the seed to check if it's sprouting. You water it. You believe in its nature. You let time and faith do their perfect work. Say softly, I plant my desire in faith. I water it with gratitude. I harvest it in joy. A faith does not require proof. Faith becomes the proof. It sees the invisible, hears the silent yes of the universe, and knows the outcome even before the evidence. Beloved, faith is not loud. It is not desperate. It is calm, still, and unwavering. It whispers, all is well, even when everything seems uncertain. It smiles in the storm, because it knows the storm is clearing the path. Say softly, I am calm in the waiting. I am peaceful in the process. I am confident in the promise. The universe does not respond to panic. It responds to peace. When you are frantic, you broadcast lack. When you are certain, you broadcast abundance. Your vibration tells the story of your faith. That is why the rich, the fulfilled, the happy, they speak with a sense of inevitability. They say, of course it's coming. They don't ask when. They simply make room for what they already know will arrive. Say softly, I make room for my blessings. I live like my good is guaranteed. I prepare because I know it's coming. Beloved, the difference between wishing and knowing is the bridge where miracles happen. The energy of I hope says, maybe someday. But the energy of I know says, it's already on its way. And heaven always delivers to those who expect delivery. Faith doesn't mean you never feel doubt. It means you choose not to feed it. When fear knocks, faith answers the door and says, there's no room for uncertainty here. Say softly, I am rooted in faith. I am grounded in peace. I am certain in divine order. You can't fake faith. You can only grow it by trusting a little more each day. Every answered prayer increases your confidence. Every divine delay teaches you patience. Every miracle reminds you that faith works. Beloved, every manifestation begins twice. Once in the mind and once in reality. Faith is what connects the two. It's the invisible bridge between thought and thing. Say softly, my faith builds bridges from the unseen to the seen. My faith moves mountains in silence. My faith magnetizes every blessing meant for me. The moment you stop checking if it's working and start assuming it's done, you step into divine flow. You shift from waiting to welcoming. You stop pushing and start allowing. Faith turns time into servant and circumstance into soil. It bends reality in your favor because it aligns you with truth. Say softly, everything is working for me. Everything is moving toward me. Everything is happening through me. Beloved, don't chase evidence. Create it. Don't beg for signs. Be the sign. When you walk in faith, your energy becomes proof that God lives within you. And when heaven sees that vibration, it rushes to fulfill its promise. Say softly, faith is my power. Faith is my proof. Faith is my magnet. Now, take a breath. Feel peace spread through you like light. That peace is faith. It is the energy of certainty flowing through your body. Hold it. Own it. Live in it. Because when you live in faith long enough, you stop manifesting from effort. You stop manifesting from being. You don't try to attract anymore, you simply allow. You don't question timing anymore. You trust divine order. You don't look for miracles anymore. You recognize that you are one. Say softly, one final decree. I am certain of my good. I am confident in divine law. I am magnetic through faith. I am a manifesting powerhouse, under grace and in perfect timing. And so it is. Beloved, everything you touch with your hands was once an invisible picture in someone's mind. Every home, every painting, every invention, every fortune, all began as an inner vision. The invisible always comes first. The physical is only the echo. Before you can see it in your world, you must see it in your spirit. The mind is the workshop of creation, and imagination is the paintbrush of the soul. Say softly, what I see within, I shall soon see without. My imagination is divine creation in motion. The wealthy, the joyful, the powerful, they don't wait to believe after the result. They begin by seeing themselves already living it. They close their eyes and walk inside the scene until it feels real. Because they know this truth, the universe cannot resist a fully felt image. Every mental picture you hold in faith becomes an energetic order to creation. You are not daydreaming. You are blueprinting reality. Imagination is not escape, it is instruction. When you see it clearly within, the universe receives your design and starts building it around you. Say softly, I see it. I feel it. I live it. Therefore, it becomes. Your outer world is always a reflection of your inner pictures. If you imagine fear, you meet fear. If you imagine peace, you meet peace. If you imagine abundance, doors open that were once invisible. Beloved, the universe is visual. It does not speak your language of words. It speaks your language of images and emotion. When you create an image and fuel it with feeling, you send a living blueprint into the unseen. That image becomes a seed planted in divine soil. Say softly, my imagination is holy ground. Every picture I hold in joy must appear in form. You do not need to know how it will happen. Your only task is to hold the vision steady. Without doubt, without force, without fear. The law takes care of the details. Your vision is the plan. Your feeling is the permission. Most people stop imagining because they think their dreams are too big. But the universe does not see size. It only sees vibration. It doesn't matter if you imagine a flower or a fortune, to divine law, both are possible in the same way. Say softly, no dream is too big. No blessing is too far. My vision and my faith make all things possible. Imagination is sacred power, not fantasy. When you visualize with faith, you are not escaping reality. You are commanding it to shift. You are not pretending. You are preparing. Every time you hold the vision, you are tuning your energy in the frequency of your desire. Say softly, I am aligned with the energy of my vision. I think it. I feel it. I live it now. Beloved, everything you see around you began as a thought form. Even this moment, you attracted it by resonance. The people you meet, the blessings you receive, the ideas you get, they are all drawn by the pictures you hold most often. So guard your inner screen. Do not let fear be the film that plays in your mind. Do not let worry be the movie you watch on repeat. Direct your imagination like an artist. Intentionally, lovingly, faithfully. Say softly, I am the director of my inner movie. Only beauty, abundance, and peace play on my screen. You see, when you visualize, you become one with that vision. If you can see it long enough, you start to feel it. If you can feel it deep enough, you start to embody it. And once you embody it, reality must follow. Beloved, this is how manifestation truly works. Thought, image, feeling, form. That is the sacred order of creation. Everything you imagine with love must appear under grace. Say softly, every divine image I hold is fulfilled in perfect time. My imagination is God's creative power within me. Do not underestimate the quiet power of your mind. You can sit in silence, close your eyes, and build worlds in spirit, and heaven will respond as if it already exists. The moment you see it clearly, it begins forming. The moment you feel it deeply, it begins moving. The moment you believe can completely, it begins arriving. Say softly, my vision is clear. My feeling is strong. My belief is complete. Every great soul in history practiced this law. They lived more inside their inner picture than in the outer facts. When everything around them said, impossible, their vision whispered, already done. That is the essence of faith. To see the unseen until it cannot help but reveal itself. Beloved, if you can picture yourself free, abundance must follow. If you can picture yourself loved, love must appear. If you can picture yourself whole, healing must manifest. Your imagination is divine currency. Spend it wisely. Say softly, I imagine only good. I picture only peace. I project only love. The universe is not judging your worthiness. It is responding to your pictures. If you keep imagining struggle, it assumes you want more of it. But when you imagine ease, joy, and expansion, it rushes to bring you matching experiences. So begin your mornings with vision. Before you touch your phone or speak to the world, speak to the divine in you through imagination. See yourself surrounded by golden light. See opportunities finding you. See people smiling when they meet you. See money flowing freely and peacefully. See yourself walking with calm, divine confidence. Say softly, what I see I become. What I visualize I attract. What I visualize I manifest. Beloved, the unseen realm is more real than the physical. It holds the blueprint of every blessing waiting to appear. When you align your inner picture with faith, you unlock the door to infinite abundance. Your task is not to force the image into existence. Your task is to keep the image alive until the world adjusts itself to match. That is why persistence in vision is holy. It's not stubbornness, it's spiritual stability. Say softly, I hold my vision with grace. I keep my faith with ease. I manifest with peace. And when the outer world begins to change, do not act surprised. Act grateful. For you will know that nothing happened by chance. It was all pictured first within. Say softly, one final decree. I see it before I see it. I believe it before it becomes. I imagine with divine certainty. And all I imagine appears under grace and in perfect timing. And so it is. Beloved, thought is the blueprint, but feeling is the power that brings it to life. Your emotion is the electricity that lights up the design. Without feeling, words are empty shells. Without imagination is only a sketch. But when you add the vibration of feeling, your picture becomes alive, radiant, magnetic, unstoppable. Say softly, I feel my desires as real. I breathe life into my dreams. I magnetize what I feel. The secret that rich souls, healed souls, and peaceful souls all understand is simple. They don't wait to feel abundant until the money arrives. They don't wait to feel loved until someone loves them. They don't wait to feel worthy until they succeed. They choose the feeling first, and the world rearranges itself around that vibration. Beloved, this is the divine law of emotional alignment. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you feel. Your feelings are frequencies, and every frequency has matching experiences waiting to tune into it. When you feel rich, opportunities hear you. When you feel loved, kindness finds you. When you feel confident, doors open quietly. You become the magnet for the emotion you broadcast. Say softly, I feel safe to receive. I feel peaceful in prosperity. I feel joyful as miracles find me. You see? The universe is not responding to your words. It is responding to your vibration. If you say, I am abundant, while secretly feeling lack, the vibration of lack becomes your true command. But when you feel the truth of your words, When gratitude warms your chest, when joy rises like sunlight in your heart, then your entire being becomes a prayer that must be answered. Say softly, "My emotions are my prayer. My peace is my proof. My joy is my magnet." Beloved, your feeling is your signature. It's your personal energy code that tells the universe who you are right now. If you dwell in anxiety, you keep calling for things to worry about. If you dwell in gratitude, you keep calling for things to thank for. Feeling is frequency, and frequency is destiny. That's why you must guard your emotional atmosphere as carefully as you guard your words. You cannot speak faith and feel fear. You cannot declare abundance and feel anxiety. You must align your emotion with your declaration. Because feeling is what makes the invisible tangible. Say softly, "I align my words with my emotions. I align my emotions with divine truth. I feel what I speak, and what I feel becomes real." Beloved, to feel it real is not pretending. It is perceiving from your higher self. When you feel something is already done, you merge with the vertier self who already has it. You are no longer wishing. You are being. You have stepped into the identity of your answered prayer. Say softly, "I am already living the life I desire. I am already holding the good I imagined. I am already one with my manifestation." Close your eyes for a moment. Picture the reality you desire. See yourself in it. But now, feel it. Feel the joy of it being done. Feel the gratitude for its arrival. Feel the peace of knowing it was never far, only waiting for your alignment. That warmth in your chest, that calm smile, that deep breath. That is creation happening. You are no longer just a thinker, you are a transmitter. And what you transmit, you receive. Beloved, emotion is energy in motion. It is meant to flow, not to be suppressed. When you hold on to sadness, you hold on to the past. When you release it, you create room for joy. Emotions are not enemies. They are indicators. They tell you what you are currently calling toward you. Say softly, "I honor my feelings. I release what blocks my peace. I choose emotions that align with my good." The more love you feel, the more life loves you back. The more joy you feel, the more blessings multiply. The more gratitude you feel, the more doors open. This is not magic. It is divine mathematics. What you feel consistently becomes what you live continuously. Say softly, "I choose love over fear. I choose faith over doubt. I choose joy over struggle." The greatest mistake most people make is waiting for external things to change how they feel. But feeling does not follow manifestation. It creates manifestation. You cannot wait to be happy. You must feel happiness now. You cannot wait to be abundant. You must feel abundant now. When you feel it first, reality follows like a shadow of your inner state. Say softly, "I feel wealthy now. I feel loved now. I feel worthy now." Beloved, your emotions are prayers wrapped in vibration. They speak to the universe without words. Every smile is a command. Every sigh of gratitude is a signal. Every breath of peace is a call to more peace. So when you rise in the morning, do not just think of what you want. Feel it. Feel the sunlight as if it's blessing your abundance. Feel the warmth in your chest as if your desires are already yours. Walk through your day with the energy of already done. Say softly, "It is done. It is done. It is already done." The emotional field around you is like the air around a flame. It carries the light of your vibration wherever you go. People feel it. Opportunities sense it. The universe recognizes it. When you are emotionally aligned, you become a living magnet for your desires. And when you are misaligned, life feels heavy. Not because you are unlucky, but because your inner tone is out of tune. Realignment begins the moment you choose a better feeling. Say softly, "I tune my heart to gratitude. I tune my mind to peace. I tune my soul to divine abundance." Every time you return to love, you raise your frequency. Every time you return to gratitude, you invite grace. Every time you return to joy, you become unstoppable. This is the law. Emotion creates magnetism, and magnetism creates manifestation. Beloved, when your thoughts, words, and feelings all say the same thing, the universe must obey. That is perfect alignment. And in that state, miracles are not rare, they are routine. Say softly, one final decree. I feel what I desire until it feels natural. I align with peace until it becomes power. I live in gratitude until miracles become normal. I am emotionally aligned with divine good, and everything I feel in faith must appear under grace and in perfect timing. And so it is. Beloved, the universe has perfect rhythm. It moves in divine order. Every sunrise appears at the right second. Every seed blossoms at the right season. Every river finds the ocean without rushing, because flow is the law of life. Nothing divine is ever forced. Everything divine is allowed. You do not make flowers bloom by pulling their petals. You do not make fruit ripen by shouting at the tree. You simply nurture, trust, and wait, knowing that time itself works for you. Say softly, I do not force. I allow, I trust divine timing. The impatient mind says, it's not happening fast enough. But the wise soul whispers, it's already happening, just not yet visible. Divine timing is not delay. It's precision. It is the sacred choreography of the universe, aligning people, places, and miracles so that everything meets at the perfect intersection of destiny. Beloved, when you try to rush divine order, you create resistance. When you try to force manifestation, you invite exhaustion. But when you rest in faith, you open the door to miracles that cannot be hurried, but also cannot be stopped. Say softly, I release control. I trust the unfolding. Everything is working for me. The universe never forgets your prayer. It never loses your order. It simply prepares the delivery in perfect coordination with your readiness. Because every blessing must match your vibration. And sometimes, divine delay is divine protection. Beloved, when something hasn't arrived yet, it's not because you are forgotten. It's because the universe is adjusting frequencies, yours and the world's, so that the moment of arrival becomes effortless, not chaotic. Say softly, the delay is my protection. The waiting is my preparation. The timing is my blessing. Think of time as a divine river. You cannot push the current. You can only flow with it. If you move too fast, you fight the stream. If you stop completely, you sink. But when you float in trust, the current carries you softly where you are meant to go. Say softly, I float in faith. I rest in divine flow. I arrive in perfect timing. The richest souls, the most peaceful souls, they all live by one truth: patience is not waiting. It is trusting while you move. It is calm confidence in divine process. It is resting inside action. You are not being tested, you are being timed. Divine law never forgets, but it always prepares. And when all is ready, within and without, the blessing rushes in like light through an open door. Say softly, I am not waiting for the blessing. The blessing is waiting for my readiness. And I am ready now. Beloved, surrender is not giving up. It is growing up spiritually. It is choosing peace over panic, faith over flow over force. When you force, you operate from lack, trying to make things happen. When you flow, you operate from faith, knowing they already are. Say softly, I stop forcing outcomes. I start flowing with grace. I live in divine rhythm. When you let go of the how, and when, you invite the wow. Because divine timing never disappoints. It delivers more than you imagined, in ways that feel effortless, peaceful, and right. Beloved, the universe is never late. It does not operate on your clock, and operates on alignment. And alignment happens when your energy matches your vision. When your emotion matches your affirmation, and when your faith matches your desire, say softly, I am aligned. I am at peace. I am in divine timing. Think of the caterpillar that becomes a butterfly. No one can rush that process. The cocoon looks like darkness, but it is transformation. The stillness looks like silence, but it is sacred activity. And one morning, without struggle, the wings open. That is divine timing. Effortless emergence after inner alignment. Say softly, even when it looks still, God is moving. Even when I can't see progress, life is preparing me. Even in silence, divine work is being done. When you live in flow, you stop fighting the process. You stop complaining about timing. You stop doubting divine intelligence. You begin to trust that what is yours can never be lost, and what is not yours will never stay. Beloved, divine timing is not about waiting for the right time. It's about becoming the right vibration. Once you match the frequency of your blessing, time collapses and manifestation becomes immediate. Say softly, I am ready now. I vibrate with divine good. My blessings find me with ease. Every pause has purpose. Every detour hides direction. Every slow moment is secretly sacred. Nothing is wasted when you trust the law. When you flow, you stop chasing. You stop grasping. You start allowing. Because in divine flow, nothing is missing, everything is moving. Say softly, I move with divine flow. I trust divine order. I rest in divine timing. Beloved, patience is not weakness. It is power in silence. It is the quiet knowing that says, my good is on its way, and I refuse to disturb its perfection. So instead of asking, when will it come? Ask, how can I stay aligned until it arrives? Instead of saying, why is it taking so long? Say, something greater is being arranged. Say softly, I no longer chase time. Time works for me. Divine timing serves my purpose. When it happens, and it will, you will look back and say, now I understand. You will see that the wait was wisdom. The delay was design, and the float was faith in motion. Beloved, divine timing never disappoints. It may test your patience, but it will always reward your trust. Say softly, one final decree. I no longer rush divine order. I flow with peace, not pressure. I trust the unfolding of every miracle in my life. Everything arrives under grace, in perfect order, and in perfect timing. And so it is. Beloved, money is energy. Love is energy. Blessings are energy. And energy was never meant to sit still. It was meant to circulate. The law of circulation says, whatever you give with love multiplies. Whatever you hoard in fear diminishes. You are not meant to hold energy. You are meant to let it flow through you. Say softly, I give freely. I receive abundantly. I keep divine energy in motion. The river that keeps moving stays clear. The river that stops flowing becomes stagnant. So it is with life. So it is with money. So it is with love, opportunity, and joy. When you hold back in fear, when you clutch your money, hide your talents, or refuse to bless others, you block the current that feeds your own abundance. But when you open your hand and your heart, you join the rhythm of divine supply. Say softly, I am part of the divine circulation of good. I let blessings flow through me. I trust that what I give returns multiplied. Beloved, giving is not losing. It is multiplying through spiritual mathematics. When you give in love, you are not less. You are expanded. Because everything you release in joy comes back to you in divine form. The universe cannot send new supply into a closed vessel. You must make room for more by releasing with faith. If you want more love, give love. If you want more peace, give forgiveness. If you want more wealth, give with gratitude. Say softly, release with joy. I give with grace. I receive with gratitude. The wealthy know this law. They understand that circulation keeps the current alive. That is why they invest, support, share, and give. not because they have to, but because they know giving keeps the flow open. Fear says, if I give, I'll lose. Faith says, if I give, I grow. And the universe echoes whichever one you believe. Say softly, my giving multiplies my abundance. My blessings return in unexpected ways. I trust the rhythm of divine exchange. Beloved, money is not the source. It is the servant. You are the vessel through which divine supply flows. When you hoard, you share, you expand. Look at nature. Nothing holds back. The ocean gives waves without counting them. The sun shines without charging a fee. The flowers bloom without expecting applause. Everything gives freely because it knows the law. To withhold is to block. To share is to expand. Say softly, I am as generous as the sun. I am as flowing as the river. I am as abundant as the earth. Beloved, this is why gratitude and generosity walk together. The grateful heart says, I already have enough. And the generous heart says, I can share because I trust the source. Together, they create an unbreakable circle of wealth. If you give with resentment, it breaks the current. If you give with love, it multiplies the current. Bless every bill you pay, every act of service you give, every kind word you share. Each one is a deposit into your spiritual bank account. Say softly, I bless every dollar I spend. I bless every person I pay. I bless every gift I share. It returns multiplied. When you bless your spending, it becomes investment. When you bless your giving, it becomes harvest. When you bless others, you bless yourself. Because you and the other are never separate. You are part of one divine circulation of life. Beloved, never say, I can't afford. That closes the flow. Instead say, divine supply meets every need in perfect time. That keeps the current open. The universe responds to openness, not fear. Say softly, divine supply flows to me freely. All that I give returns multiplied. I live in the current of infinite wealth. If you ever feel stuck financially, ask not, where is my money? But where is my energy blocked? Are you holding resentment towards someone? Are you afraid to give? Are you clinging to what must be released? Beloved, energy cannot enter a closed circuit. Forgive, release, and flow, and circulation will return. Because the law cannot fail, it only waits for your alignment. Say softly, I forgive freely. I release fear completely. I open my channels of receiving. Giving does not always mean money. Sometimes it means your time, your smile, your encouragement, your prayer. And the universe measures not the amount, but the intention. A penny given in faith carries more spiritual weight than a fortune given in fear. So give what you can with joy, and watch how quickly the circle expands. Say softly, I give with a joyful heart. I receive with an open spirit. I live in divine exchange. Beloved, remember this, the law of circulation always includes you. When you give, you receive. When you bless, you are blessed. When you expand another's joy, your own joy increases. You cannot outgive the universe. Because you and the universe are one. Say softly, the more I give, the more flows back. The more I bless, the more blessings I attract. The more I circulate, the more I expand. Think of life as a great circle of light. Every act of kindness you send out moves around that circle and returns home, multiplied and magnified. That is why no good deed is ever lost. Every generous act is an echo that finds its way back to you in divine time. Say softly, what I give returns multiplied. What I bless blesses me. What I share expands forever. Beloved, you are not a container of blessings. You are a conduit. You are not a collector of wealth. You are a channel of supply. When you live in flow, you live in infinite abundance. You no longer ask, will I have enough? You declare, I have enough. Therefore, I have enough. Say softly, I am a vessel of divine supply. I am a channel for blessings to flow. I am circulation in motion. Yen, as you give, remember to receive, for that too is part of the law. Some people block the flow by refusing to accept help, compliments, or kindness. Receiving is not greed, it is gratitude. It completes the circle. Say softly, I receive with grace. I accept my blessings fully. I allow divine abundance to reach me. Beloved, every inhale and exhale proves this law. You inhale, you receive, you give, and the rhythm of both keeps you alive. Try holding your breath, and you will feel how essential circulation is to existence. So let your soul breathe, through giving, through gratitude, through grace. Say softly, one final decree. I give without fear. I receive without guilt. I live in the endless circulation of divine supply. All that I give returns multiplied, under grace and in perfect timing. And so it is. Beloved, every miracle begins with identity, not with wanting, not with waiting. You cannot manifest wealth while believing you are poor. You cannot manifest love while believing you are unworthy. You cannot manifest success while seeing yourself as small. Because manifestation is not about what you wish for. It's about what you are willing to embody. Say softly, I already am what I desire to be. I already live the reality I once imagined. The secret of creation lies in identity. What you identify with, you magnetize. The moment you become the person who already has it, your outer world has no choice but to rearrange itself to match. You see, beloved, the universe mirrors what you believe yourself to be. If you believe you are waiting, life keeps you waiting. If you believe you are chosen, life keeps choosing you. If you believe you are abundant, opportunities appear where there were once walls. Say softly, life reflects who I am. I am abundance. I am success. I am divine manifestation in motion. Beloved, this is where most souls stop. They visualize, they affirm, they pray, but they never embody. They still walk, talk, and think like the version that lacks, not the version that lives in the answer. And until identity shifts, manifestation remains potential instead of proof. Identity is not something you chase. It's something you choose. Every morning, you are free to choose which self you will be. Will you be the doubter or the believer? The struggler or the receiver? The seeker or the creator? Say softly, today I choose to be the one who already has it. I walk like it's done. I speak like it's done. I live like it's done. Beloved, this is not pretending. This is prophesying. You are not lying to yourself. You are lining yourself. You are not faking it. You are faithing it. When you act, speak, and think from the state of already having, you tune your vibration to divine completion. And everything unfinished must align to finish itself. Say softly, I live in the vibration of completion. I no longer wait, I receive. I no longer wish, I am. Think of the actor who steps onto the stage. For those few moments, they become the character. Their mind, tone, and body move in perfect alignment with that role. And the audience believes it, because the actor believed it first. So it is with manifestation. You must become the character of your desired life, not in pretense, but in presence. Beloved, the universe responds to energy, not effort. When your energy says, I already am, you emit a frequency that only matching experiences can enter. You stop chasing, you start attracting. You stop waiting, you start witnessing. Say softly, I am no longer becoming. I am being. I am one with my manifested self. Who is that version of you? The one who already has peace, success, wealth, and love. How do they walk? How do they speak? What do they believe about life? What emotions fill their mornings? Start living that way now, because vibration precedes visibility. Say softly, I think as my higher self thinks. I feel as my abundant self feels. I live as my divine self lives. Beloved, identity is the root of all manifestation. Thoughts are the branches, emotions are the flowers. But identity is the soil that holds it all together. If you change your thoughts but not your identity, your garden will bloom for a moment, then fade. But when you shift who you believe yourself to be, your blessings grow in all seasons. Say softly, my identity is divine. My nature is abundant. My life is blessed beyond measure. You are not a beggar of blessings. You are the embodiment of answered prayer. You are not trying to attract. You are the attraction. You are not hoping for favor. You are favor in form. Say softly, I am the vibration of everything I desire. I am the proof that divine law works. I am manifestation made visible. Beloved, the shift is subtle but sacred. You move from I want, from know to I know, from one day to this day. And when you live like that, time bends, opportunities appear, and miracles recognize your energy as home. The identity of your higher self has no fear of delay, no doubt about worthiness, no scarcity in supply. That version of you walks in peace because it already knows the word, I am, is the name of God in action. Say softly, I am peace in motion. I am divine supply in form. I am creation expressing itself. Beloved, when you fully embody your divine identity, you live differently. You stop apologizing for your light. You stop minimizing your gifts. You stop settling for less than divine order. Because you finally understand, you are not separate from the source. You are the source expressing through form. Say softly, I am not apart from the divine. I am the divine appearing as me. And in that realization, everything changes. Your vibration rises, your confidence deepens, and your manifestations come not as surprises, but as natural results. Beloved, identity is the final doorway to mastery. Once you become the energy of what you seek, you no longer seek, you simply attract. You no longer visualize to get, you visualize to remember. Because your divine self already holds it. Say softly, I am whole. I am fulfilled now. You are no longer asking the universe to deliver. You are allowing the universe to reveal. For your higher self has already spoken the word, and now your physical self is catching up to the vibration. Beloved, identity is destiny. Choose to be the manifestation. Choose to walk as the answered prayer. Choose to live as the one who already knows the law works. Say softly, one final decree. I no longer chase what is mine. I align with who I am. I am the manifested version of my highest self. I am the living proof of divine power. I am a manifesting powerhouse, under grace and in perfect timing. And so it is. Beloved, you have spoken the word. You have remembered the truth. You have awakened the divine within you. Now say these words not as hope, but as law. Breathe deeply and repeat after the universe itself. I am the creator of my reality. I am the power that manifests worlds. Everything I speak becomes. You were not learning to manifest. You were born manifesting. Every thought, every emotion, every word has been creating all along. Now you are conscious. Now you choose to create on purpose, not by default. Say softly, I think with clarity. I feel with faith. I speak with divine authority. The power within you is not new. It is ancient, eternal, and perfect. It is the same power that spins galaxies. And now it flows through you. Without effort, without end. The power of God within me is unlimited. I am aligned with divine intelligence. I am guided by grace in all things. You no longer chase miracles. You command them. You no longer beg for blessings. You attract them. You no longer question your worth. You embody it. I am worthy of every good thing. I am chosen for divine success. I am surrounded by infinite abundance. Let these words sink into your soul. You are no longer separate from the source. You are the source expressing as you. Your every breath is divine creation in motion. I am light made visible. I am energy in form. I am the voice of divine law. Every section you've heard has been preparing you for this realization that the manifesting powerhouse is not something outside you. It is you, the thinker, the feeler, the speaker, the believer, the one who knows that heaven is not far away, it's within. Heaven lives in me. Faith flows through me. Miracles surround me. Beloved, the time of waiting is over. The time of becoming has ended. You are now being. The identity of power, the embodiment of abundance, the vessel of grace. I am already living in my answered prayer. Everything I have asked for is already mine. Everything I desire unfolds under grace and in perfect timing. You have aligned your words with your emotions, your vision with your vibration, your identity with your destiny. You are whole. You are powerful. You are the divine made visible. I am calm in creation. I am confident in divine order. I am magnetic through faith. Now say this last decree as the seal of your manifestation. I am a manifesting powerhouse. I create with love. I receive with grace. I live in divine flow. All things work together for my highest good. Under grace and in perfect timing. A pause. Breathe. Let that truth move through you. You are the prayer. You are the proof. You are the manifestation. And so it is. Before you sleep tonight, heaven is listening. Every word you whisper before you close your eyes becomes a command to the universe. While you rest, your subconscious keeps speaking, shaping your tomorrow, preparing your supply, calling your blessings home. You have worked hard all day. You have planned, prayed, and pushed. But now, Spirit says, be still and speak. For the last words before sleep are the most powerful words you will ever say. They enter the divine silence where all creation begins. Florence Scovel Shinn said, your word is your wand. The words you speak create your world. And when the world grows quiet and your mind softens, your word becomes law. You are no longer fighting against time. You are aligning with the eternal. You are no longer chasing blessings. You are commanding them with faith. Say this before you sleep, and heaven will move for you. As I rest, divine supply works for me. My good is finding me now. I am safe, I am calm, I am cared for. Let these words travel into the unseen. Let them wrap around your dreams like light. For while the body sleeps, the soul creates. And by morning, what you spoke in faith will begin to take form. Because spirit never sleeps. It listens, it responds. And when you speak truth before you rest, money, opportunities, and miracles find their way to your door. Quietly, gracefully, and under divine order. Night is not the end of your day. It is the beginning of creation. When the world goes silent, the unseen world awakens. Your mind may rest, but your spirit begins to work. Quietly, faithfully, powerfully. You see, the universe does not need your effort. It needs your energy. And the most magnetic energy of all is peace. The peace that enters the soul before sleep. That moment between wakefulness and rest is a divine gateway. The bridge between the visible and the invisible. Between what you want and what already belongs to you. Florence Scovel Shinn said, man must speak his word into every situation. That includes the hour when you close your eyes. Because your last thought before sleep does not fade away. It sinks deep into the soil of your subconscious, where it begins to grow roots of reality. It becomes a seed of manifestation, watered by divine intelligence through the night. When you sleep in worry, you create delay. When you sleep in peace, you create momentum. Your rest becomes your request. Your stillness becomes your statement of faith. Say this now softly. As I sleep, divine supply is preparing my abundance. Again, as I sleep, divine supply is preparing my abundance. Every night is an invisible meeting between your soul and spirit. The conscious mind stops controlling, and the divine mind begins orchestrating. It rearranges details, aligns opportunities, whispers ideas into the minds of others, and sends guidance to your future self, all while you are resting. Florence said, "Man's word sets in motion unseen forces and eventually return to him multiplied. And what better moment to send those forces forth than when you are closest to the unseen? Before sleep, you are no longer distracted by the world. You are pure consciousness, pure emotion, pure creation. That is the hour when your affirmation carries the full weight of your soul. It does not bounce off walls of doubt. It goes straight into divine law. Say this now. As I rest, I release all struggle. My wealth is already in motion. Again, as I rest, I release all struggle. My wealth is already in motion. Beloved, the spiritual realm does not operate on clocks. There is no tomorrow or yesterday in spirit, only now. So when you say, I am wealthy, before sleep, heaven hears it as truth now, not later, not one day, now. This is why the wealthy in spirit do not beg, they bless. They know that their sleep is sacred. It is not escape, but alignment. They rest because they know their word is already working. They rest because they know that divine substance cannot fail. Florence said, "There is no delay in divine mind. Therefore, I am never too late." When you go to sleep in this knowing, you rise into a morning of miracles. Your energy at night is your prayer for the day to come. If you fall asleep in peace, you wake up magnetic. If you rest with gratitude, you rise with grace. If you drift into sleep believing that the universe is on your side, the universe must respond. Because faith is law, and law cannot be broken. So tonight, as you lay your head upon the pillow, release the need to figure it all out. Your only task now is to feel peace, to feel safety, to feel the quiet assurance that everything you need is being arranged perfectly. Say this before you sleep, and let it echo through your dreams. I am safe. I am calm. I am supplied. While I rest, heaven works for me. Or repeat it until the rhythm carries you into stillness. Let the vibration of those words around you like a blanket of gold. Because faith does not sleep. It watches, it moves, it builds, it delivers. And as you close your eyes, remember you are not going to rest from your work. You are resting in your miracle. Every night, before you drift into the silence, one thought crosses the doorway of your mind. The final thought, the last whisper before the world fades. That is the moment the universe takes its cue from you. Your last word becomes your law. Your final vibration becomes your morning reality. Florence Scovel Shinn said, "You must act as if you have already received. And your last thought before sleep is the purest form of that action. Because in that sacred in-between, where the body rests but the soul still listens, your word is not just spoken, it is written in the invisible. The last thing you say before sleep decides what the unseen world will bring when you wake. If your final word is worry, the universe rushes to give you more of it. If your final word is peace, peace becomes your atmosphere. If your last thought is lack, lack multiplies. But if your last word is faith, your faith calls forth provision before dawn. Beloved, do you realize how powerful that is? The world may forget your words, but heaven does not. The silence of sleep is not emptiness. It is the womb of creation. And every word you speak before surrendering to it becomes a seed planted in divine soil. Say this now. My last word tonight is faith. My last thought is wealth. My sleep is creation. My last word tonight is faith. My last thought is wealth. My sleep is creation. You see, your conscious mind is the gatekeeper. But when you sleep, that gate opens wide. Whatever you let in at the last moment enters the holy ground of your subconscious. The part of you that never sleeps, never doubts, and never forgets. It begins to reproduce the exact emotion you carried into rest. Florence said, "A man's word is his wand. It can heal, bless, and prosper." So what if you ended every night with a wand of light? What if your last word was always prosperity, peace, or gratitude? You would begin to wake each morning inside a miracle. Most people let fear speak last. They close their eyes thinking, "How will I pay for this? What if tomorrow doesn't change?" And the subconscious, faithful but neutral, simply obeys. It builds what it was told. It builds more fear, more delay, more confusion. But the wise, the waken, the faithful, they know the secret. They speak last. They give the final command. They tell the universe exactly what to create while they sleep. Say this now, with quiet certainty. My word is the last word. My word is wealth. My word is peace. Again, my word is the last word. My word is wealth. My word is peace. You see, when you go to bed angry, you take that fire into your dreams. When you go to bed afraid, you feed your future with fear. But when you go to bed faithful, you invite angels to build your blessings overnight. Heaven responds to the vibration that ends your day. That is why Florence said, "Your only enemies are fear, doubt, and worry. And the way to defeat them is not with battle, but with your final word. Speak peace, and worry dissolves. Speak gratitude, and fear retreats. Speak wealth, and lack loses its power." You don't need to force belief. You don't need to repeat endlessly. You only need to feel your word as truth in that moment before you drift away. Because the subconscious does not respond to effort. It responds to emotion. It listens to the vibration behind your words. So if you whisper, "I am rich," but feel fear, the signal is weak. But if you say, "I am cared for," and mean it with your whole heart, the law of supply begins to move instantly. Tonight, let your last word be sacred. Let it be calm. Let it carry faith so strong that heaven must act. Say this now slowly, like a lullaby to your soul. I am cared for. I am guided. I am supplied. Again. I am cared for. I am guided. And as you speak, imagine those words leaving your lips as streams of light. They rise into the night sky, into the unseen, where divine intelligence receives them, not as wishes, but as instructions. They become energy, then movement, then form. They become opportunity, guidance, provision, miracles. Every last word builds a new world. So guard it carefully. Make it worthy of your future. Florence said, "Nothing stands between man and his highest good but fear." So tonight, let faith stand at your door. Let gratitude tuck you in. Let peace sing you to sleep. Because the last word of the night becomes the first miracle of the morning. When you fall asleep, beloved, something holy begins to happen. The world outside grows silent, but heaven grows loud. In the stillness of your rest, your spirit begins to attract. The vibration of your peace sends a signal through the invisible, a signal that only abundance can answer. Florence Scovel Shinn said, "Faith never fights. It knows." And nowhere is that truth more powerful than in the silence of the night. Because while you sleep, faith is working. It does not argue. It does not strive. It simply knows. And what it knows, it calls forth. The rich in spirit understand this sacred exchange. They do not go to sleep with worry in their chest. They do not let fear be their pillow. They go to sleep with gratitude in their hearts, because they understand that the law is always listening. And when they rest in faith, their energy becomes a magnet. Say this now, softly. As I sleep, I attract everything that belongs to me. Again, as I sleep, I attract everything that belongs to me. Your aura, the field of light that surrounds your body, changes when you sleep. When your mind lets go, your aura expands. When your breath slows, your energy becomes calm, radiant, and magnetic. The fear that once pushed abundance away begins to dissolve, and the light of trust begins to glow. That glow, beloved, is your silent signal to the universe. It tells every blessing, come home. It calls forth money that was delayed, opportunities that were overlooked, and people who were meant to help you. It draws everything that matches your peace. You see, wealth does not chase noise. It follows harmony. Money is energy, and energy seeks alignment. When your energy is frantic, the flow scatters. When your energy is calm, it collects. That is why silence is not emptiness, it is attraction. Florence said, "Man can only receive what he feels is his by divine right." When you are calm, you feel that truth deeply. You no longer wonder if you deserve it. You simply know that you do. You stop reaching for money, and money starts reaching for you. Say this now: money feels safe with me. My peace attracts prosperity. Again, money feels safe with me. My peace attracts prosperity. Every night as you rest, your subconscious builds bridges between you and your supply. It inspires someone to think of you. It brings your name into the right conversation. It arranges a meeting, an idea, or a breakthrough that you could never plan while awake. Because the spirit that never sleeps is always working for you. The wealthy in spirit trust this law. They do not lie awake trying to fix everything. They surrender it to the divine engineer. They say, God is my supply and my success. And then they sleep, deeply, peacefully, powerfully. Florence said, Infinite Spirit, open the way for my immediate supply. Let all that is mine by divine right now reach me. And when you say this before sleep, you are giving the divine full permission to move. You are stepping out of the way so grace can step in. Beloved, the world may tell you to work harder, but heaven tells you to rest deeper. Because faith does not force. Faith allows. Faith does not push the door open. It stands in front of it and says, it will open at the right time. Well, your silence is not weakness. It is sacred communication. In that stillness, your energy says everything that needs to be said. Says, I trust. I allow. I am ready. And the universe, hearing that vibration, begins to send wealth in motion. Say this now: my silence speaks abundance. My rest creates miracles. Again, my silence speaks abundance. My rest creates miracles. The wealth magnet within you is not built by striving. It is built by surrender. Each time you release control, you invite divine timing. Each time you exhale, you open another channel. Each time you choose peace before sleep, your energy becomes gold. Think of the night as a soft, living sea, and your faith as the current. When you drift into sleep with peace in your heart, that current carries you toward new blessings by morning. Your soul travels in faith, gathering ideas, answers, and opportunities to bring back with you at dawn. That is why you sometimes wake with sudden clarity, a new idea, a solution, or a feeling that something good is coming. That is not coincidence. That is creation. Your soul has been working while you rested. Your word has been echoing through the universe, and now, the echo is returning as evidence. Say this before you sleep tonight: my rest is my wealth. My stillness is my strength. My dreams are filled with divine instructions. Again, my rest is my wealth. My stillness is my strength. My dreams are filled with divine instructions. And then let go. Let silence take over. Let peace speak for you. Because when your mind is quiet, heaven gets to work. And when heaven works, nothing can stop your good from finding you. When the morning light touches your face, beloved, something within you knows. Something invisible has shifted. You may not see it yet, but you feel it. There is a quiet certainty in your heart, a calm that wasn't there yesterday. That calm is not emptiness, it is evidence. It is the spiritual proof that your word was heard. Florence Scovel Shinn said, Faith knows it has already received. Faith doesn't wait for signs to believe. The feeling itself is the sign. So when you wake up peaceful, even before your outer world changes, that peace is your first miracle. It means the law is working. It means heaven has already begun to rearrange the visible world to match your vibration. Many people open their eyes and immediately remember their problems. They start the day in the same energy that blocked their abundance the night before. But you are learning a new rhythm. You wake not to repeat the past, but to receive the results of faith. You start your morning as a continuation of creation. Say this now, softly, today. I walk in the evidence of answered prayer. Again today, I walk in the evidence of answered prayer. Because morning, beloved, is not a test, it's confirmation. The moment you wake, your energy is most pure, untouched by worry, still aligned with the peace you planted during the night. That is why the first words you speak after rising are just as sacred as the ones you spoke before sleep. They must match in power. They must mirror your belief. Florence said, "You can never receive what you cannot see yourself receiving." So see it now. See yourself waking into a day that already knows your name. A day that has been prepared in love. A day that holds unexpected blessings waiting around every corner. As you stretch and breathe, imagine that the universe has gone ahead of you, clearing obstacles, opening doors, arranging divine encounters. Because while you slept, it did exactly that. Faith planted the seed. Morning brings, say this now, I rise in peace. I walk in provision. I rest in divine order. Again, I rise in peace. I walk in provision. I rest in divine order. You may notice something different today. Perhaps a small kindness, a word spoken at the right moment. An opportunity that feels too perfect to be coincidence. These are not accidents. They are the fingerprints of spirit, the quiet confirmations that your word from last night has already started working. Sometimes, the proof will be internal. A sudden idea, a new inspiration, an urge to take a step you've avoided. Do not dismiss it. That is how spirit speaks to the awakened. When the law moves, it doesn't shout, it whispers. It nudges. It reminds you of your power. Florence said, "Never do today what intuition says to do tomorrow." That means flow, not force. You are no longer driven by fear's urgency. You are guided by faith's rhythm. You no longer chase, you allow. You no longer plan from panic. You move from peace. And when you live this way, every morning becomes sacred ground. You begin to notice that your days unfold with less resistance, fewer delays, more alignment. Things simply fit. That is the mark of divine order, the invisible intelligence arranging life in your favor. Say this now. Everything I need is already in motion. Every good thing is already finding me. Everything I need is already in motion. Every good thing is already finding me. You will find that when you hold this morning calm, money begins to respond faster. It will show up in ways you didn't expect. A refund, an opportunity, a new idea, or the right person crossing your path. That is the rhythm of responding to safety. When you feel safe to receive, abundance feels safe to stay. Do not rush into the noise of the world. Protect your peace. The first 10 minutes after waking decide the tone of your day. So stay in gratitude. Whisper thanks for things unseen. Thank God not only for what is still forming. Florence said, gratitude is the law of increase. Every thank you is a magnet. It draws more to be thankful for. So before you rise, speak softly. Thank you for another day of divine supply. Thank you for the unseen blessings now on their way. When you walk out into the world, carry that vibration with you. Let your calm be your confidence. Let your peace be your proof. You do not need to convince anyone of your faith. Your energy speaks for you. People will begin to feel it. That quiet authority, that radiant certainty that something greater is guiding you. Say this now: where I walk, favor walks with me. What I touch prospers. Who I meet blesses and is blessed. Agare I walk, favor walks with me. What I touch prospers. Who I meet blesses and is blessed. Beloved, the law of wealth does not end when you wake. It continues through your every thought, word, and emotion. The same peace that created your abundant must guard it through the day. So return to that calm often. Pause. Breathe. Remember that the universe does not forget what you spoke in faith. Every time you choose peace instead of panic, you remind heaven that you are still ready. Every time you say, "Thank you," before seeing results, you accelerate their arrival. Every time you stay calm in waiting, you prove that you have already received. The morning is not just a beginning. It is a revelation. It shows you what faith looks like when it becomes form. And the more you live in that energy, the more the unseen becomes visible. So as you step into your day, say this final morning decree: the law of abundance is working through me now. I am aligned, supplied, and surrounded by good. This day carries my answered prayers, under grace, in perfect ways. And then walk through the world not as someone hoping, but as someone who knows. And now, beloved soul, you have come full circle. From the word that began your to the light that greets your morning. Everything has moved under grace, in perfect ways. The unseen has heard you. Heaven has acted. The divine law, so faithful and exact, is already fulfilling what you have spoken in peace. You are no longer the one who worries before sleep. You are the one who commands with love. You are no longer the one who chases blessings. You are the one who attracts them by stillness. For you have learned the sacred secret of manifestation, that the calm soul creates faster than the restless mind. Florence Scovel Shinn said, "Nothing stands between man and his highest good but fear." But now, fear has no voice in you. You have replaced it with faith. You have replaced it with truth. You have replaced it with your divine word, the word that never returns void. Say this softly: my word is the bridge between heaven and earth. Again, my word is the bridge between heaven and earth. Each time you speak in faith, your vibration rises. Each time you sleep in peace, your aura glows brighter. Each time you thank the unseen, you quicken the miracle. And so tonight, when you rest again, you will not fall into sleep. You will rise into it. You will enter that invisible temple where all good is formed. Florence said, "Man's word sets in motion forces, seen and unseen, return to him multiplied." So know this: the words you have spoken these past nights are already multiplying, in ways you cannot yet measure, through channels you cannot yet see. The law is faithful. The supply is certain. The miracle is underway. Say this now: I trust the invisible process of my prosperity. Again, I trust the invisible process of my prosperity. The divine never delays. It only aligns. The good that is yours cannot be lost. The money that belongs to you cannot be withheld. The opportunities assigned to your name cannot be given to another. Everything marked for you is in transit, guided by faith, protected by grace, and drawn to your calm. When you understand this, worry becomes unnecessary. When you live this, peace becomes natural. And in that peace, abundance becomes inevitable. You are now in harmony with the law that governs all wealth. The law of vibration, the law of expectancy, the law of gratitude. You no longer hope for supply. You embody it. You no longer plead for provision. You walk as proof of it. The money, the ideas, the favor, all these are not outside of you. They are expressions of the divine within you. Florence said, "Man must make the statement: there is no failure in divine mind. Therefore, I cannot fail. So speak it now. There is no failure in divine mind. Therefore, I cannot fail. Again, there is no failure in divine mind. Therefore, I cannot fail. You are part of a rhythm that never falters. Each inhale gathers blessing. Each exhale releases resistance. Each heartbeat whispers, I am one with divine abundance. From this night forward, your rest will no longer be ordinary. It will be sacred. Each time your eyes close, heaven will hear your command. Each time you breathe in peace, the universe will rearrange itself in your favor. Each time you whisper your decree, invisible hands will move mountains for your good. Say this now, while I rest, the law works. While I sleep, the supply moves. While I dream, my wealth finds me. Again, while I rest, the law works. While I sleep, the supply moves. While I dream, my wealth finds me. And tomorrow, when you wake, you will rise differently. You will walk through the world not in haste, but in harmony. You will no longer look for signs. You will feel them. The right words will flow from your mouth. The right people will cross your path. The right opportunities will recognize your vibration. Because you have become the vibration of wealth itself. You are the calm in which abundance feels safe. You are the faith through which blessings flow. You are the proof that peace attracts prosperity. Florence said, gratitude is the law of increase. So let us thank the unseen now, before the manifestation becomes visible. Thank God for the money already moving. Thank God for the doors already opening. Thank God for the miracles already underway. Say this now, thank you, Infinite Spirit, that my supply is constant and abundant. Thank you that I am always cared for, always guided, always blessed. And now, beloved, the final decree. I rest in divine order. I speak only truth. I live in unshakable faith. My word commands wealth, peace, and perfect timing. All that is mine by divine right flows to me now, freely, effortlessly, and under grace. Again, I rest in divine order. I speak only truth. I live in unshakable faith. My word commands wealth, peace, and perfect timing. All that is mine by divine right flows to me now, freely, effortlessly, and under grace. And one last time, not as a hope, but as a command sealed in heaven, I rest in divine order. I speak only truth. I live in unshakable faith. My word commands wealth, peace, and perfect timing. All that is mine by divine right flows to me now, freely, effortlessly, and under grace. Now take a deep breath. Let your shoulders drop. Let peace rise like light through your heart. Because tonight, you are not waiting for your miracle. You are resting in it. You are not searching for money. Money is searching for you. You are not begging the universe. You are blessing it. And as your head rests upon the pillow tonight, the invisible goes to work. By morning, something will have shifted. Something will have arrived. Something will whisper, it is done. Sleep peacefully, beloved. For your word is law, and your law is love, and love always delivers.
There is a divine current of abundance, a river of prosperity, always flowing, always seeking expression through us. Many believe money is hard, scarce, or bound by struggle, but this is only the illusion of fear. The truth is that supply is as unlimited as the air we breathe. And the moment one aligns with the higher law of good, provision appears as swiftly as light follows the dawn. Instant money is not born from chance or manipulation. It is the outward evidence of inner alignment with universal substance. The code is not numbers nor secrets locked in books. It is the eternal principle of cause and effect working through thought, word, and belief. Every spoken word is a seed, and every seed brings forth after its kind. To speak of lack is to plant lack. To declare abundance is to summon it from the unseen into the seen. The instant money code is nothing less than the conscious recognition that wealth already exists, and that one is heir to it by divine right. Money is a symbol, a servant, an instrument of exchange. It is neither holy nor unholy, except as one calls it. To see it rightly is to free it from bondage and to allow it to circulate without fear. When the mind is filled with anxiety, money seems to vanish. When the heart is filled with gratitude, money arrives like a trusted friend. Gratitude is a magnet, faith is a conductor, and words are the key that unlock the treasury. The instant money code is written in the language of affirmation. One must declare, "I am rich in divine ideas, and these ideas manifest as gold in my hands." Such a statement is not empty, but creative. It sets unseen forces into motion. For thought impregnated with faith becomes form. A mind convinced of lack will prove it. A mind convinced of abundance will demonstrate it instantly. To live by the code is to refuse fear's suggestion. It is to stand unwavering when appearances seem small, and to remember that the invisible supply is greater than any visible demand. Just as the sun does not ration its light, so the source does not ration its wealth. One need only open the window of belief to let it in. The instant money code is the remembrance that we are never beggars, but rightful inheritors of every good thing. Opportunities, ideas, and unexpected channels are merely forms taken by the one infinite supply. The law is swift, exact, and unfailing. The moment one releases the thought of limitation, the channel clears, and money flows instantly, in ways both expected and miraculous. Thus, the code is lived by faith, spoken with authority, and sealed with gratitude. It is not learned in time but revealed in consciousness. To align with it is to enter into the effortless rhythm of prosperity, where every need is met in perfect timing, and every desire is fulfilled without toil. Abundance flows as naturally as breath, for it is the eternal rhythm of life itself, unbroken, unceasing, and forever available. Just as no one stops to question whether there will be enough air to inhale, so should no one question the availability of divine supply. Air is unseen, yet it fills the lungs the moment one draws it in. Wealth is the same, invisible in essence, but instantly present the moment the mind allows it to flow. Lack arises only when one holds the breath, clutches in fear, or believes that the atmosphere is limited. The truth is that the universe is generous beyond measure, a storehouse without walls, and every soul is heir to its inexhaustible treasures. When one observes nature, the evidence of abundance is everywhere. A single tree produces thousands of leaves in a single season, and countless seeds fall, more than will ever be needed to reproduce its kind. The ocean never ceases to pour waves upon the shore, wave after wave, without effort or scarcity. Stars scatter across the sky in numbers beyond imagination, each one burning with endless energy, not rationed, not limited. The rhythm of abundance is written into creation itself, and to live in harmony with this rhythm is to recognize that money, opportunities, and resources flow in the same boundless way. Many hold the false belief that abundance is earned only through struggle, that it must be chased, fought for, or withheld. Yet this is no more true than the belief that one must battle for every breath of air. The body does not strain to receive oxygen, it simply allows the intake. In the same way, the consciousness that releases fear and invites supply becomes a clear vessel through which money flows. Strain blocks the channel, while surrender opens it wide. Effort is not the source of abundance. It is alignment that reveals it. The instant money code speaks through this law. That supply is always present, always waiting for recognition. Abundance is not created by man's effort, but acknowledged by man's faith. One who trusts the process of breath does not gasp in terror. Will the next breath be there? But receives with confidence, and so it is with wealth. The fearful heart imagines shortage, but the fearless one rests in the assurance that provision is perpetual. To understand abundance as breath is to see that circulation is essential. Just as inhaling requires exhaling, so does receiving require giving. If one were to hold the breath and refuse to release it, suffocation would follow. In the same way, clinging to money in fear of loss creates stagnation. The law of circulation requires that what is received must also flow outward, so that the current of prosperity remains unbroken. To give in joy is to breathe out, and to receive in faith is to breathe in. Both movements are necessary, both are sacred, and both confirm the truth that supply is endless. Consider how quietly and naturally the breath sustains life. One does not direct it consciously for every moment, and yet it continues, faithful and steady. Abundance works in the same silent certainty, moving through channels seen and unseen, providing without ceasing. When the mind is quieted and the heart is still, one can feel this rhythm, a pulse of provision as constant as the heartbeat. Money becomes less of a chase and more of a current, arriving at the right moment, from the right direction, in perfect sufficiency. Fear whispers of competition, as though the air belonged more to one than another, as though there were not enough to go around. Yet who would argue that the atmosphere is divided by borders or restricted by claim? The wind blows freely, touching all, favoring none, withholding from none. So too does the flow of abundance operate without partiality. Each individual stands beneath an open sky of infinite supply, and it is only the belief in limitation that causes one to feel deprived. Breath teaches the lesson of trust. No one stands awake through the night reminding themselves to inhale, fearing that oxygen might fail. The body knows. The breath flows, and sleep is peaceful. Imagine if the same trust were placed in the flow of wealth. How restful life would become. How free from anxiety, how open to creativity. To trust that abundance flows as breath is to live without the strain of constant worry. To live instead in the assurance that needs are met in divine timing, through perfect channels, without resistance. The rhythm of abundance is not hurried, nor is it delayed. It comes as naturally as the rise and fall of the chest, the steady cycle of inhale and exhale. When one becomes attuned to this truth, desperation dissolves. There is no need to clutch at life, for life itself is giving ceaselessly. The focus turns inward, toward cultivating receptivity, faith, and gratitude, rather than outward toward chasing and striving. Gratitude, in particular, is the deep breath of the soul, the acknowledgement of supply already present, and this acknowledgement multiplies what is received. In moments of fear, when money seems scarce, pause and breathe. Notice how air rushes in without effort. Notice how it supports life without price or condition. Let this be the reminder that supply is equally present, equally free, equally dependable. To meditate on the breath is to meditate on abundance itself. For both are gifts of the same source, flowing without interruption. There is also a sacred rhythm in the balance of giving and receiving, much like the balance of inhalation and exhalation. When one learns to give freely, without fear of depletion, one affirms trust in the endless source. And when one receives without guilt, one affirms worthiness. Both movements strengthen the current, and through them, money flows in ways that appear instant, effortless, and abundant. Words are seeds that manifest wealth, for every utterance carries within it the germ of creation. The tongue is not a simple instrument of speech, but the very sower of destiny. When one speaks, vibrations are released into the unseen, and these vibrations gather substance, drawing to themselves the exact likeness of the words declared. To speak lack is to sow lack, and to speak abundance is to sow abundance. Just as a farmer plants corn and does not expect wheat, so too does the mind and tongue plant according to their kind. No careless word is without fruit, and no deliberate word fails to bring forth its harvest in due season. Consider how the natural world mirrors this principle. A tiny seed, so small it may be overlooked, carries the blueprint of the towering tree, the orchard, the harvest. Within the smallest acorn lies the strength of oak forests, and within the smallest spoken word lies the power to shape reality. When one declares prosperity, even in the face of appearances that contradict it, the declaration is like planting a seed beneath the soil. The ground may look barren, but unseen roots are forming, unseen forces are responding, and in perfect time the harvest appears. Words may seem intangible, but they are containers of energy, and energy crystallizes into form. To understand that words are seeds is to recognize that casual complaints, murmurs of fear, or repeated affirmations of struggle are not harmless. Each one is planted in the fertile soil of consciousness, and the soil does not discriminate between weeds or fruitful seeds. It gives life to whatever is sound. When one constantly says, "I never have enough," or "money is hard to come by," the soil of mind accepts these declarations as commands and produces after their kind. In contrast, when one speaks, "I am rich in divine ideas," or "wealth flows to me freely and easily," the soil accepts this command as well, and prepares to manifest it in visible experience. The instant money code rests upon this awareness. Wealth begins not with coins or paper, but with words. A word is the beginning of a chain that moves from vibration to thought, from thought to belief, from belief to action, and from action to manifestation. Every fortune ever built began first with a spoken declaration, whether aloud or within the secret chambers of the mind, and every failure has likewise been rooted in repeated declarations of defeat. Words are not idle, they are laws spoken into existence, and once spoken, they set unseen forces into motion. One must therefore guard the tongue as a sacred instrument. It is not enough to think positively while speaking negatively, for the spoken word carries power in its vibration. A mind filled with faith that utters words of doubt is like a gardener planting weeds among flowers. The weeds will compete for life and often choke out the harvest. This is why discipline of speech is essential, for the tongue reveals the direction of belief. To speak wealth is to affirm wealth, and to affirm wealth is to call it forth. Observe how the simplest phrases influence the body and spirit. To say, "I am tired," repeatedly brings heaviness, yet to say, "I am filled with energy," awakens a spark even before the body has caught up. In the same way, saying, "I am poor," creates heaviness of lack, while "I am prosperous" awakens the energy of supply. The body responds to words, circumstances bend to words, and unseen channels open to match the vibration of words. To live carelessly with speech is to plant thorn and briar, but to live consciously with speech is to plant garden and orchard. The breath carries words as wind carries seeds. Each statement made is carried outward, scattered into the soil of the universe, and from that scattering, life grows. If one could see the invisible realm, they would behold fields sprouting with every kind of plant, some strong with prosperity, some tangled with fear, depending on the nature of words spoken. The wise cultivator clears away the weeds of negative confession and chooses carefully each seed sown, knowing the harvest is inevitable. Words not only declare but also direct the subconscious. The subconscious is like fertile ground that does not question the quality of seed. It simply obeys. Repeated affirmations, spoken with conviction, impress upon the subconscious a pattern, and once impressed, the pattern reproduces itself faithfully. To say, "Money flows to me in expected and unexpected ways," again and again is to etch a groove in consciousness, a groove through which money must flow. Repetition is watering the seed, conviction is sunlight, and gratitude is nourishment. The harvest is certain, for the subconscious cannot resist the law of suggestion once it is impressed. There is also the power of spoken words to influence others and circumstances. When one speaks with confidence, doors open. When one speaks with assurance of prosperity, opportunities are drawn, for people respond not only to what is said, but to the vibration behind it. A merchant who speaks of abundance attracts buyers, a leader who speaks of vision attracts followers, an individual who speaks of wealth attracts wealth, for the world echoes back the vibration it receives. The law works impersonally, responding to the words spoken without judgment. Words can also cancel one another if spoken carelessly. To affirm abundance in the morning and complain of lack by the afternoon is to plant and uproot. Plant and uproot, leaving the soil barren. Consistency is the secret, for consistency allows roots to grow deep. When one decides that every word shall be aligned with prosperity, then the subconscious is not confused, and the universe is not given mixed signals. The harvest comes swiftly because the ground is not disturbed. Children understand this principle without knowing it consciously. They repeat phrases, songs, and declarations, and soon they live within the world those words create. Adults, too, are repeating scripts daily, phrases about struggle, survival, or lack, and they live within the world those scripts dictate. Yet at any moment, the script can change. A single word of truth spoken with faith can uproot years of negative declaration, for light is always stronger than shadow. To begin anew is as simple as choosing new words, planting new seeds, and tending them with care. The wealth one seeks is already within the spoken word, waiting to unfold. The invisible responds immediately when the right words are spoken with belief. Words are not mere symbols but keys that unlock unseen doors, formulas that summon invisible supply into visible form. The more deliberately one speaks, the more swiftly the invisible becomes visible. Thus, every conversation is a planting, every sentence a field, every word a destiny forming. Gratitude is the magnet of money, for gratitude is the acknowledgement of supply already present, and what is acknowledged expands. It is the unseen force that draws multiplied blessings, just as a magnet pulls iron without effort. Gratitude is not merely polite words spoken when something arrives, but a living attitude that radiates appreciation before, during, and after the manifestation of wealth. It is the spiritual law that whatever one thanks for increases, for the universe responds to recognition. To say, thank you, to life is to invite more life. To say, thank you, for money is to invite more money, and to say, thank you, for opportunities is to open the door for greater opportunities. Money is not drawn by worry, nor by desperate desire, but by the calm assurance of appreciation. Gratitude is that assurance. When one is thankful even in smallness, the smallness transforms into largeness. The individual who finds one coin on the street and rejoices, saying, "Thank you, more of this," has sound a vibration that must bring more coins, more notes, more avenues of increase. The one who frowns at the small coin and says, "This is nothing," has shut the channel, for the universe cannot multiply what is despised. Every sum, no matter how small, carries the seed of greater sums, and gratitude waters that seed. Gratitude lifts the mind from the appearance of lack into the consciousness of abundance. When the eyes are fixed on what is missing, the heart grows heavy, the speech grows negative, and the soil of thought is sown with weeds of limitation. But when the eyes turn toward what is present, however slight, and gratitude fills the heart, the vibration shifts. Lack dissolves, abundance quickens, channels open. Gratitude is the bridge between what is and what is to come, the invisible force that aligns man with his divine inheritance of wealth. One may test this law in daily life. Begin by thanking for the money already in hand, however modest. Thank the dollar in the pocket, the coins in the drawer, the food on the table, the clothes on the body, the roof overhead. As gratitude flows, the vibration rises, and new supply is attracted. Soon unexpected gifts arrive, new streams of income appear, and money comes in ways unforeseen. Gratitude is a magnetic field and money is drawn to it as metal to lodestone. It cannot resist. For the vibration of thanks is the vibration of abundance itself. It is not only money that responds to gratitude, but all good things. Health strengthens under the light of thanks, relationships flourish, doors open. Yet when gratitude is directed specifically toward wealth, it becomes a direct channel for prosperity. To wake each morning and say, "Thank you for the wealth that flows to me today," is to align consciousness with the flow of supply. To retire at night and say, "Thank you for the abundance received today," is to seal the day with recognition and prepare the soil for a greater tomorrow. Gratitude shifts the inner language from complaint to praise. Complaint repels, for complaint is a declaration of lack. When one says, "I never have enough," the universe affirms it with matching evidence. When one says, "I am grateful for the money I have and the money that is coming," the universe affirms that as well. Words of gratitude carry creative power because they are spoken with joy, and joy multiplies the substance of life. The magnetic pull of thanks draws not only visible wealth, but also unseen opportunities, connections, and ideas that result in financial increase. Observe how gratitude transforms the spirit even before external change arrives. The heart grows light, the mind grows clear, the body relaxes. In this state, one becomes receptive, open, and ready to notice opportunities that may otherwise be overlooked. A grateful person sees doors where others see walls, solutions where others see problems, paths where others see dead ends. Gratitude is not passive. It is the active state of expectancy, the awareness that good is here and more is on the way. Consider the farmer who waters his field. He does not curse the seed for being hidden, nor despair because the harvest is unseen. He waters, tends, and waits with trust, knowing that the crop is inevitable. Gratitude is that water. Each thank you, spoken over money already present and money yet unseen, is a watering of the seed of prosperity. In due time, the harvest appears. For the soil of life cannot deny what has been faithfully nourished with thanks. Gratitude also breaks the chain of envy and comparison. When one envies the wealth of another, the vibration is one of lack and separation, which blocks the flow of personal supply. But when one says, "Thank you that abundance is possible, for I see it demonstrated," the vibration becomes one of alignment, and what is acknowledged in another is drawn closer to the self. Gratitude dissolves jealousy, replacing it with celebration, and what is celebrated is invited. Even in moments where money seems absent, gratitude works its quiet power. To say, "Thank you for the unseen supply that is already on its way," is to shift from despair into faith. This declaration acknowledges that the invisible is as real as the visible, and gratitude bridges the gap until manifestation occurs. Gratitude in lack is the strongest magnet, for it proves trust in the law of abundance. Where trust is strong, supply hastens, for the channel is clear of fear and resistance. Gratitude also keeps circulation alive. Just as breathing requires inhaling and exhaling, prosperity requires giving and receiving. Gratitude makes both movements joyous. When one gives money with thanks, the vibration says, "There is more where this came from," and the universe affirms it with return. When one receives with thanks, the vibration says, "I am worthy and ready for more," and the universe affirms that as well. Gratitude ensures that money never stagnates but flows in rhythm, increasing with each cycle. Every act of gratitude is a declaration of abundance, a statement that says, "I live in a giving universe." This declaration shifts every circumstance, for the universe mirrors back the conviction held within. Gratitude is the secret frequency of prosperity, the song of the soul that attracts its own harmony. When sung consistently, life becomes a symphony of provision, with money appearing from near and far, expected and unexpected, visible and invisible. Faith transforms thought into form, for faith is the invisible power that clothes the unseen with substance and makes the intangible visible. Thought alone may drift as shadow, but when charged with faith, it becomes magnetic, alive, and irresistible to manifestation. Every invention, every fortune, every achievement first began as thought, yet not all thoughts are born into form. It is faith that quickens them, the divine spark that commands the unseen to take shape in the world of matter. Without faith, thought is a seed left unplanted. With faith, thought is a seed pressed into fertile soil, destined to sprout and bear fruit. Faith does not require sight, for sight looks only at what already exists. Faith looks beyond appearances, sees with the eye of spirit, and knows that the desired good is already accomplished in the invisible. To think of money without faith is to wish weakly. To think of money with faith is to create it surely. Faith holds the image steady when outer conditions deny it. Faith stands unmoved when circumstances shout lack. Faith knows that the invisible law of abundance is stronger than any temporary condition. It takes hold of the unseen substance of prosperity and molds it into form. Just as the sculptor sees the statue within the marble long before the chisel strikes. Every man and woman holds within the mind countless thoughts of wealth, but only those wrapped in faith take root. Idle thoughts scatter like seeds on barren rock, but faith-filled thoughts sink deep into the soil of consciousness and draw to themselves everything needed for growth. To say, "I am wealthy," with doubt is to speak empty words, but to say, "I am wealthy," with unwavering faith is to issue a command to the universe that must be obeyed. Faith is authority. Faith is law spoken with certainty. Faith is the unseen architect building wealth with precision. Faith does not wait for proof. It provides its own proof by holding steady until form appears. When one plants a seed in the ground, faith assures the planter that roots are forming. Shoots are rising, though nothing yet is seen. In the same way, when one holds a thought of prosperity, faith assures that channels are opening. Opportunities are forming, money is moving, though the outer world may seem silent. Faith lives in the certainty of the unseen. And this certainty brings the unseen forth into the seen. Fear is the opposite of faith, and fear also transforms thought into form, but into forms of lack, loss, and limitation. When one worries, the thought of disaster clothed in faith of dread becomes manifest, just as surely as the thought of prosperity clothed in faith of confidence. The law does not discriminate between faith in good or faith in evil. It fulfills whichever thought is believed. Thus, fear must be cast out, for it is misdirected faith. True faith is not blind, it is clear vision that chooses to believe in abundance, harmony, and success despite appearances. Faith aligns the inner world with the outer. A thought without faith remains only an idea, but a thought filled with faith creates feelings, words, and actions that all harmonize with it. To believe in wealth deeply causes one to speak of wealth, expect wealth, and act as one already wealthy. These vibrations draw wealth in visible form. The one who believes in poverty deeply speaks of lack, expects lack, and acts in fear, and so attracts lack in visible form. Faith is the difference, the subtle current that determines whether thought remains idle or becomes creation. Faith is exercised through affirmation, vision, and expectancy. When one affirms, "Money comes to me easily and constantly," faith infuses the words with power. When one holds a vision of wealth, faith keeps the vision bright, not dimmed by delay. When one expects good, faith becomes the open hand ready to receive. Faith is not struggle, for struggle implies doubt. Faith is rest, the calm assurance that the seed planted must grow, the conviction that abundance already exists and is making its way into form. The unseen substance of the universe is pliable, waiting to be shaped by faith-filled thought. Just as clay waits for the potter, so does divine substance wait for the thinker. When thought is impressed with faith, the substance begins to take shape in ways mysterious and miraculous. Opportunities arise, ideas surface, people appear, doors open. Faith is not bound by time, for it draws swiftly, and not bound by channel, for it finds ways beyond imagination. A person of faith may see money appear through unexpected avenues, yet each avenue is but the outworking of the law that thought clothed in faith becomes form. Faith also sustains persistence. Without faith, one gives up too soon, abandoning the seed before harvest. With faith, one waits with calm assurance, knowing that manifestation is certain. Many have abandoned prosperity because they allowed doubt to uproot their seed, but those who hold faith see their harvest arrive in full. Faith is the patience that knows delay is not denial. Faith is the confidence that unseen forces are working even when the eyes perceive nothing. Faith can be cultivated. It grows as it is exercised, just as muscles strengthen with use. Begin with small declarations, watch them come to pass, and faith grows for larger ones. Speak words of abundance, see them fulfilled, and faith deepens. Each demonstration strengthens conviction until faith becomes unshakable. Then even the grandest vision of wealth seems natural, for faith knows it is already accomplished. Faith transforms thought into form because faith is alignment with divine law. Divine law is abundance, harmony, and completion. When thought vibrates with faith, it is aligned with this law, and alignment produces manifestation. A thought without faith is out of tune, like a note struck wrongly on an instrument. But a thought with faith rings true, and the universe harmonizes with it. Wealth then flows, not as struggle but as music, composed by the faith of the thinker. Faith is not limited to the individual alone, for it radiates outward. When one speaks with faith, others believe. When one moves with faith, doors open. Faith has an aura, a presence, that draws cooperation, support, and favor. Those who live by faith in abundance become magnets, not only for money, but for people and opportunities that carry money with them. This is the mystery of faith's power. It transforms not only thought, but the entire atmosphere around the one who believes, creating a field of manifestation that others can feel and respond to. Supply is infinite, demand is illusion. For what appears as lack is only a shadow cast by limited perception. The truth is that the universe is an endless reservoir, overflowing with riches, ideas, opportunities, and forms of wealth, but the human mind, clouded by fear and conditioned by false belief, imagines scarcity. This imagination of scarcity creates the experience of scarcity, yet it is only illusion. The moment one lifts consciousness above fear into truth, the illusion dissolves, and the infinite supply stands revealed. The sun does not ration its light, nor does the ocean ration its waves. Air is not measured out in rations, and the earth does not withhold its fruit. Everywhere nature declares this truth, abundance is the law. Scarcity does not exist in reality. It is a construct of thought. Just as one who closes their eyes may imagine darkness has overtaken the world, yet the sun still shines, so too does one who believes in lack imagine supply has ended. Though supply continues, full and inexhaustible, money itself is but one expression of this infinite supply. Ideas are supply, energy is supply, connections are supply, inspiration is supply. There are countless forms of wealth waiting to be seen and claimed. When one declares, "There is not enough," one narrows the vision and blinds the eyes to the channels through which supply flows. But when one affirms, "Supply is infinite," the vision expands, the eyes open, and opportunities are seen where none were seen before. It is not supply that is absent but awareness that is clouded. The illusion of demand arises from fear. When one feels they must chase, compete, or struggle for what they need, they declare through thought and word that supply is limited. But this declaration has no basis in truth, for supply is as boundless as the stars in the heavens. The sense of demand is a mirage, created by forgetting that every need is already answered in divine mind. The very fact of desire proves the existence of supply, for no desire is born without its corresponding fulfillment. The bird's hunger is met with seed, the fish's need is met with water, and so too is every human desire already matched by the infinite storehouse. When one understands that supply is infinite, fear loosens its grip. No longer is life lived in anxious grasping, for one knows there is always more. Just as no one panics that air will run out with the next breath, so should no one panic that wealth will run out with the next expense. Supply is inexhaustible, endlessly renewing, pouring itself forth through channels both visible and invisible. Fear of demand closes the door, faith in infinite supply opens it wide. The illusion of demand also comes from comparison. When one sees another prosper and believes that their own share is diminished, they forget the nature of infinity. Infinity cannot be divided, cannot be lessened by another's gain. Another's wealth is not subtraction from one's own, but proof of the boundlessness of supply. Envy and competition are based on the false belief that wealth is a pie of fixed size, where one slice leaves less for another. In truth, the pie is endless, slices multiply without end. Each person taps directly into the infinite, without reducing what is available to anyone else. Supply being infinite also means channels are endless. If one door closes, another opens. If one channel dries, 10 more appear. To cling to one channel as though it is the source is to forget the truth. The job, the client, the market, the business, all are channels, but never the source. The source is infinite supply itself, unbound, unfailing, limitless. When one channel ends, it is only life redirecting the flow through another, perhaps larger, perhaps better suited. To believe demand is final is to cling to the channel and ignore the ocean. Gratitude and faith align one with this infinite supply. Gratitude acknowledges the abundance already flowing, and faith expects the abundance yet unseen. Together they dissolve the illusion of demand. When one lives in thanksgiving for what is present, one signals readiness for more. When one rests in faith for what is to come, one signals confidence that more is inevitable. These vibrations align with truth, and truth always reveals itself in form. Observe how easily nature demonstrates supply without demand. A tree does not strain for leaves, it simply receives sun and water, and leaves appear in abundance. A flower does not wrestle to bloom, it unfolds naturally, drawing sustenance from the earth. Rivers do not struggle to flow, they follow their course effortlessly. So too is human supply meant to flow, effortless, natural, constant. The illusion of demand comes from resisting this flow, damming it with fear, blocking it with doubt. To release fear is to let the current move again, and when it moves in abundance. Consider how often people magnify the illusion of demand by repeating words of lack. There isn't enough. I can't afford this. Times are hard. These words are declarations of illusion, seeds planted in the soil of thought that grow into harvests of scarcity. Yet the truth remains unchanged beneath them, just as the sun remains shining even when clouds obscure it. When one changes the declaration to truth, there is always enough. I can afford every good thing by divine right. Supply is infinite and flows to me now. The illusion dissipates, and reality is revealed. Infinite supply does not mean chaos or excess without order. It means there is always enough for every need, at the right time, in the right way. Just as the lungs are filled with exactly the right measure of air, not too little and not too much, so does divine supply provide precisely what is required for each moment. The mind that trusts this law rests in peace, knowing that demand is never real, only illusion created by doubt. In reality, there is always perfect provision. The illusion of demand can also be broken by remembrance of source. When one remembers that the universe itself is infinite, that divine mind is limitless, and that man is heir to this abundance, all sense of shortage vanishes. To believe in lack is to believe that infinity can be diminished, that the eternal can be exhausted, that the infinite storehouse can be emptied. Such a belief is absurd, yet it is the root of fear. To affirm instead that supply is infinite is to align with reality, and alignment with reality always brings demonstration. The truth of infinite supply is not distant, nor reserved for a few, but present here and now for all. It flows through ideas, through inspiration, through opportunities, through unexpected gifts. It waits only for recognition. The moment one accepts this truth in consciousness, the outer world rearranges to match it. The moment one rejects the illusion of demand, the flow of supply is felt. It is always there, waiting to be claimed, waiting to be allowed, waiting to be expressed.
If you have felt the silence get louder, if your old life suddenly feels too small, if people are pulling away, doors are closing, and nothing is making sense, that is not destruction. That is divine rearrangement. That is the whisper before the wonder. That is spirit moving furniture in the invisible, because something big is about to walk through the door. When nothing outside of you makes sense, but everything inside you feels full, you are on the edge of divine manifestation. You are standing where the old dissolves and the new begins, not because you forced it, not because you chased it, but because your vibration has outgrown the former thing, and what you feel now is not confusion. It is the womb of demonstration preparing to birth your next chapter. If you felt stake it for isolation, don't mistake it. Don't mistake it for abandonment. It is heaven pulling you into position. Spirit removes distractions before deliverance. Spirit silences noise before a new instruction. Spirit separates you not to punish, but to crown. You are not being rejected. You are being refined. If you feel unusually emotional, strangely sensitive, deeply exhausted, this is not weakness. This is energetic clearing. Your nervous system is recalibrating to hold more joy, more purpose, more abundance. You are not breaking down, you are breaking open. Your field is stretching to receive the manifestation you prayed for, but could not imagine. Do not let this discomfort lie to you. This is the ache of alignment. This is what it feels like when the invisible begins to press into form. Your cells are preparing for the shift. Your timeline is preparing for acceleration. Your good is closer than breath, and the pressure is not punishment. It is prophecy. This is the edge. This is the verge. This is what it feels like the moment before it arrives. Not calm, not quiet, but electric, holy unrest. And if you're feeling this, you are not lost. You are not late. You are in position. Your word is the final key. Now we speak it, because what you feel is the sign, and what you speak is the command. The silence you feel is not absence. It is alignment. And you must now stop calling it loneliness, stop calling it delay, stop calling it a void, because it is none of these things. It is a sacred chamber. It is the holy pause between the words spoken and the form appearing. You are not alone in this silence. You are not forgotten in this stillness. You are being prepared, attuned, refined. The silence is not a punishment. It is a tuning fork, a spiritual calibration that says, the old cannot walk with you here. The noise cannot come with you now. Be still and know. You are not being locked out. You are being led within. The world outside may seem quiet, the prayers unanswered, the signs unclear. But what you are feeling is not emptiness. It is alignment. It is the rearranging of all things on your behalf. In the silence, heaven moves fastest. In the quiet, divine law arranges perfectly. And what looks like nothing happening is often everything happening beneath the surface. Do not misjudge this holy hush. Do not mistake divine construction for spiritual delay. You are standing in a sacred hour, the hour where nothing moves on the outside, because everything is shifting on the inside. Your vibration is changing, your rhythm is stabilizing, your soul is being stretched to hold the blessing it once only dreamed of. This is the pause that precedes the power. This is the silence that sets the stage for the sound of manifestation. Declare now, this silence is my sanctuary, this silence is my signal, this silence is divine. You are being summoned into agreement with your own prayer. You are being asked to match the frequency of what you have asked for. You are being invited to walk in the knowing before the seeing, to speak in rhythm before results. Because manifestation is not proof of belief. It is the result of unwavering alignment. This silence is not a lack of answers. It is the law waiting for your full alignment. Spirit does not withhold. Spirit waits for agreement. And in this quiet, heaven is asking, can you speak as if it's done? Can you believe when nothing around you affirms it? Can you rest in the knowing that divine timing is not slow? It is precise. The silence is sacred. The silence is strategy. The silence is surrender. And surrender is not giving up. It is giving over. It is saying, I do not need noise to be certain. I do not need proof to feel peace. I do not need answers to be aligned. Because my word has gone forth, my desire has been declared, and now I stand anchored in faith, unshaken by delay, unmoved by appearances. Say it now, I am not afraid of this silence. I am not abandoned in this stillness. I am being readied for my release. Spirit whispers in the quiet, law listens in the pause. And if your world has gone still, it is, because your new world is rising. It is not far, it is not hidden, it is forming, it is aligning, it is responding to your decree, and every second of this silence is coded with divine design. Do not rush this hour, do not resist the stillness, walk through it with reverence, breathe in the alignment. Let the quiet teach you what noise never could, because in this holy silence, you are becoming the one who can hold what you asked for. You are becoming the one who governs, not guesses. Commands, not hopes. Declares, not doubts. Say it again. This silence is my alignment. This stillness is my signal. My demonstration is not delayed. It is developing. The world may not see it. The timeline may not show it. But spirit is not ruled by evidence. Spirit is ruled by agreement. And your agreement must now be firm. Your word must remain law. Your silence must not be filled with fear. It must be filled with faith. Because the moment will come, the door will open, the form will appear. But when it does, you will not be surprised. You will not be shocked. You will not say, finally. You will say, of course. Because you knew. You felt it. You walked through the silence and you did not shrink. You did not doubt. You did not back down. You stood and you spoke and you waited in alignment. And now the silence breaks, the shift begins, the form appears, not because you chased it, not because you forced it, but because you understood the silence, you honored the stillness, and in that honoring you became the match, you became the word, you became the law. Say it now, I honor the silence, I align with the law, I am ready for the form, and so it is. The emotional intensity you feel is not weakness. It is spiritual contraction. It is not instability. It is not chaos. It is not something to run from. It is a divine sign, a holy tremor, a labor pain of the spirit preparing to birth something massive, something precise, something that belongs only to you. You are not unraveling. You are being remade. You are not falling apart. You are falling into divine alignment. The tears, the tight chest, the swelling in your throat, that is not sorrow. That is saturation. That is spiritual saturation. It is the weight of answered prayer pressing on your field before it takes form. This is not emotional breakdown. This is energetic breakthrough. And what feels like too much is not meant to crush you. It is meant to carry you across a vibrational threshold. You are not malfunctioning. You are transforming. You are expanding beyond your former shell. You are rising through the frequencies of your old identity, shedding the skin of delay, climbing into the vibration of divine fulfillment. And your body, your emotions, your nervous system, they feel it first, because the heart always knows before the eyes can see. The soul always responds before the form appears. You are not being punished by feeling too much. You are being positioned by it. The intensity is proof that you are not numb anymore. It is proof that you are in range of the miracle. It is proof that your desire is already in motion and your vessel is adjusting to hold it. You cannot carry the next dimension of your good with a frozen heart. You must feel. You must soften. You must let the fire come through, the shaking, the pulsing, the weeping. It is a divine cleansing. It is the clearing of old codes, old doubts, old resistances. Say it now. These emotions are not weakness. They are waves of divine reordering. I do not push them away. I breathe through them with truth. You are not meant to escape your emotions. You are meant to ride them like a holy tide. Let them rise. Let them crest. Let them crash and fall and wash you clean of every belief that ever said you were too much, too sensitive, too dramatic, too late. These feelings are not excess. They are evidence. They are sacred indicators that your spirit is responding to the new. Your body is catching up with your decree. Your heart is stretching into alignment with your word. The pressure you feel in your chest is not anxiety. It is spiritual adjustment. It is the soul cracking open the walls of limitation. You no longer fit inside. The ache you feel is the echo of your old self departing. The fire in your belly is the announcement of your new identity arriving. You are not collapsing. You are being crowned. Declare this aloud. I welcome the intensity. I recognize the signs. I understand that what I feel is proof that what I asked for is here. You have not failed by feeling deeply. You have passed through the numbness that delays so many. You have made it to the edge of the miracle, and your body knows. Your emotions know. Your spirit knows. The contraction is not forever. It is the squeeze before the expansion, the pull before the push, the trembling before the triumph. Do not medicate this moment. Do not numb it. Do not label it. Hold it. Honor it. Listen to what your soul is saying underneath the tears, underneath the breathlessness. It is whispering, I am arriving, I am aligning, I am ready. You are being emptied of fear so you can be filled with faith. You are being wrung out of doubt so you can be drenched in demonstration. You are being stretched not to break, but to become. And every surge of emotion is spirit saying, you are not who you were. You are the one who governs now. Say it again. I am not breaking. I am birthing. I am not overwhelmed. I am overfilling. I feel this because my good is near. There is nothing wrong with you. There never was. You are a spiritual instrument being tuned for a higher note, a vessel being strengthened for a greater glory. Let the tears fall, let the waves crash, let the heat rise. And do not shrink, do not apologize, do not second guess this process. You are the proof that the law is working. You are the evidence that the desire is already in your field. And what feels unbearable now will soon become undeniable joy. Say this aloud now. I accept the fire. I walk through the flood. I let the emotion move through me as truth. My desire is forming. My being is aligning. And so it is. The disconnection you feel is not rejection. It is redirection. It is not exile. It is not abandonment. It is not failure. It is the hand of heaven pulling you away from what can no longer go with you. You are not being cast out. You are being called up. What feels like loss is divine protection. What feels like separation is spiritual positioning. You are not being removed because you are unworthy. You are being released because you are ready. You must understand. There are people, paths, and patterns that were never meant to remain in your next chapter. There are attachments that would delay your demonstration if allowed to linger. And so Spirit severs them, not out of punishment, but out of precision, out of mercy, out of love. The space you feel around you is not a void. It is a sanctuary. It is sacred clearance for your good to arrive. Say this now. This disconnection is not the end. It is the beginning of divine alignment. I do not resist it. I receive it. Do not mourn the silence of those who have gone quiet. Do not chase the hands that have let go. Their exit is not your loss. It is your permission. Their absence is not your wound. It is your healing. Spirit has removed the false, the fractured, the fear-based, so the true may find you. Spirit has cleared the echoes so the original sound of your soul can rise. You may feel alone, but you are not abandoned. You may feel misunderstood, but you are being clarified. Spirit is not isolating you to punish you. Spirit is sanctifying you to prepare you. What you once called rejection is divine refinement. What you once saw as betrayal is heaven moving you faster toward your inheritance. Nothing real can be lost, and what is gone now was never aligned with your becoming. Declare this aloud. Every disconnection is divine direction. I trust what Spirit removes. I bless what Spirit clears. You must stop trying to resurrect what Spirit has buried. You must stop feeding energy to expired contracts. The release is sacred. The removal is holy. You asked to rise, and now you are rising. And not everything or everyone is meant to come with you. That is not cruelty. That is clarity. That is covenant. That is spiritual law, rearranging your atmosphere to match your decree. What no longer returns your energy no longer deserves your effort. What no longer reflects your vibration no longer holds your place. The doors that closed did not lock you out. They set you free. And the rooms you've been removed from, those were never your kingdom. You are not seeking a seat at their table anymore. You are building a temple of your own. Say it again. I do not cling to what has gone. I honor the release. I walk in new alignment. Do not be fooled by appearances. The empty space is full of divine instruction. The quiet is a symphony of spiritual reordering. You are being unhooked from distraction, unplugged from false comfort, unentangled from delays you could not see. You are being realigned, rewired, remembered. Because heaven is not interested in preserving your comfort. Heaven is interested in fulfilling your calling. When the people fall away, you rise. When the path disappears, you build. When the familiar dissolves, the holy is revealed. You are not being pushed out. You are being pulled forward. And the space around you is not a sign of lack. It is sacred staging. It is spiritual architecture. It is law removing the unnecessary to make room for the ordained. Say this aloud now. I release all that is no longer aligned. I trust the space. I trust the silence. I walk forward with peace. You do not need to explain your disconnection. You do not need to justify your shift. You only need to bless it and keep walking, because what awaits you is not behind you. What was removed was never the source. It was only a shadow. And now you walk toward the substance. Let the empty spaces breathe. Let the quiet moments hold you. Let the closed doors become your sign. Because you are not lost, you are being led. You are not rejected. You are being rerouted. You are not alone. You are aligned. And what is aligned cannot be delayed. Say it one final time. This disconnection is divine. This redirection is righteous. I walk boldly into the new. And so it is. The restlessness you feel is not confusion. It is activation. It is not chaos. It is not disorder. It is not something to silence. It is something to listen to. This divine agitation within you, this stirring in your soul, this vibration under your skin. It is not a sign to stop. It is your confirmation to move. You are not being pulled apart. You are being pulled forward. You are not breaking down. You are breaking open. The restlessness is not proof of misalignment. It is proof that alignment is near. It is the signal that your manifestation is brushing against the edge of your reality, waiting for your agreement, waiting for your step, waiting for your yes, say now. This restlessness is holy. This stirring is sacred. This movement is my invitation. You are not meant to stay still when your spirit begins to burn. You are not meant to deny the fire in your belly or the urge in your chest. The quickening you feel is not random. It is divine electricity running through your nervous system saying, "It is time. It is time to act. It is time to build. It is time to say yes." The vibration in your body is heaven's way of saying, "The window is open. The gate is ready. The next step is prepared." You feel this because your good is near. The unease is not a warning. It is a whisper, a divine whisper that says, "You are growing too big for this place. You are being summoned beyond these limits." You may not see the full picture yet. You may not know the entire plan, but the path is not built with sight. It is built with steps. You are not being called to certainty. You are being called to motion, and the restlessness is the rhythm of your new season trying to match your movement. Declare it aloud. I do not fear the restlessness. I respond to it. I walk forward in faith, not perfection. Do not suppress what your body knows. Do not quiet what your soul is saying. The stirring in your spirit is not anxiety. It is alignment. It is the internal evidence that what you've prayed for is awakening in the field. You feel restless because your current reality no longer holds your fullest vibration. You are vibrating beyond your old life. You are expanding beyond your old shell. And Spirit is saying, "Move with me now. Don't delay. Do not ask for more clarity. Act on what you already know. Do not wait for external permission. The inner confirmation has already come. When your soul begins to stir, that is not the time to sit in logic. That is the time to stand in decree. Heaven does not speak in volume. Heaven speaks in vibration. And your restlessness is the vibration of divine instruction. It is not just emotion. It is direction. It is not just discomfort. It is divine delivery. You are being nudged, not punished. Pulled, not pushed. Prepared, not passed over. Say again, my restlessness is not a burden. It is a blessing. It is my spiritual signal to move. You do not need to have the full plan. You only need to trust the pull. Spirit unfolds the path for those who walk in faith. You are not meant to know every step. You are meant to honor the first one. And as you step, more is shown. As you speak, more is revealed. As you move, the door opens. But only when you align your rhythm with the call. And that is why the restlessness comes, to wake you up, to say, stop waiting, stop wondering, start moving. You have outgrown the space you are in, and your soul knows it. Your destiny is tugging at your edges. Your good is knocking at the border of your belief, and Spirit is calling you not to figure it out, but to feel it through. The restlessness is the ache of your next life calling you home. You are not lost. You are being guided by the vibration of divine law. Every tremble in your chest is a note in the song of your expansion. Every twitch in your spirit is the rhythm of readiness. Say it now with breath. I honor the restlessness. I welcome the stirring. I step forward with spiritual certainty. You do not need a reason to act. You only need resonance. You do not need evidence. You only need alignment. Your next step is waiting, and the restlessness will not quiet until you move in harmony with it. Spirit is not asking you to make sense. It is asking you to say yes. Say yes in motion. Say yes in energy. Say yes in declaration, because once you do, the restlessness becomes momentum. The stirring becomes structure. The vibration becomes vision. And what felt like unease becomes undeniable peace. You are not stuck. You are being summoned. You are not unsure. You are being recalibrated. The fire is not frustration. The fire is your key. Say it again. I move with the rhythm. I act on the stirring. I walk in divine timing. And so it is. The strange signs you see are not accidents. The numbers repeating, the names that echo, the sudden delays, the divine detours, none of it is random. You are not imagining the pattern. You are not reaching. You are not confused. You are being communicated with. Spirit is speaking. The universe is arranging. The signs are not coincidence. They are confirmation. You asked for a signal, and the signal has arrived. You asked for alignment, and the pattern is the proof. When reality begins to shimmer, when the day begins to pulse with invisible order, when the usual feels unusual and the familiar turns symbolic, that is when you know. Manifestation is near. Say now, I see the signs, I feel the rhythm, I walk in the knowing. The spiritual world is not silent, it is musical. It speaks in symbols, it speaks in sensation, it speaks in the hidden alignment between what is seen and what is sacred. You are not being teased by fate. You are being shown the fingerprints of God. You are being handed breadcrumbs of your own becoming. These patterns, these numbers, these whispers, these delays, these sparks, they are not distractions, they are direction. You are not off track. You are deeply on it. Let every repeating number remind you, you are not lost. You are led. Let every delay remind you, you are not being denied. You are being perfectly aligned. Let every coincidence remind you, you are walking in the script of divine design. You ask for clarity, and clarity comes not as a voice, but as a vibration. The signs are not meant to convince you. They are meant to confirm what your soul already knows. Declare this aloud. I do not doubt the signs. I welcome the symbols. I interpret through spirit, not fear. This is not superstition. This is law. This is not fantasy. This is frequency. When you enter the vibration of alignment, reality begins to reflect it back to you. When your prayer becomes belief, the world begins to mirror the prayer. And the mirror shows itself in numbers, in names, in repeated visions, in sudden inner knowings that could not have come from logic. Spirit is not limited to language. Spirit speaks through the arrangement of your world. Do not dismiss it. Do not call it coincidence. Do not water down the wonder. When you see the signs, say thank you. When the number returns again, affirm your alignment. When the opportunity delays, know it is divine. When the door closes, know it is choreography. Nothing is off. Nothing is broken. Everything is coded in message. You are surrounded by spiritual intelligence that rearranges matter on your behalf. The signs are the residue of that movement. Say it again. I read the signs. I trust the signals. I walk with open eyes and a faithful heart. You were never meant to manifest in blindness. You were never meant to wander without witness. The divine has placed symbols on your path to awaken your remembrance, to stir your knowing, to protect you from haste and keep you from harm. You are not waiting for manifestation. Manifestation is waiting for your agreement with the signs. The more you honor the pattern, the clearer it becomes. The more you affirm the divine, the louder it speaks. Do not say, I need a bigger sign. The signs are not weak. The signs are precise. You do not need louder proof. You need deeper recognition. You are not disconnected. You are divinely observed. Every alignment you notice is the universe echoing back your desire. Every symbol you see is a preview of what is already forming. You do not need to understand how. You only need to say yes. Yes to the guidance. Yes to the mystery. Yes to the invisible choreography. Declare, I see the divine in the details. I speak to the pattern. I move with the signs. I trust what I see. Do not rush the season. Do not force the sign into form. Receive it. Rest in it. Respond with reverence. Spirit does not need to shout. Spirit shows. And you are being shown. The signs are sacred. They are not just hints. They are decrees. They are not just nudges. They are maps. The repeating number is a gate. The sudden stop is a turn. The strange dream is a message. The deep feeling is a compass. Everything is moving with you. Say it now, in rhythm. I trust the choreography. I trust the timing. I trust the way signs unfold. This is the rhythm of manifestation, not rushed, not silent, but patterned, precise, prophetic. Your only task is to read the rhythm and stay in agreement. Your only work is to interpret without fear, speak without doubt, follow without hesitation. The divine has spoken. The field is forming, and the signs are proof. Proof that the heavens are not silent. Proof that your desire is not denied. Proof that the law is already in motion. So, speak it once more. I walk by sign and by spirit. I read the pattern. I follow the pulse. I am not confused. I am confirmed. And so it is, the peace that falls over you suddenly, without reason, without warning, without logic. That peace is not ordinary. It is not mild. It is not empty. It is not a break in the storm. It is the beginning of the answer. You are not calm because nothing is happening. You are calm because something is. Heaven is moving. Spirit is working. The current has turned in your favor. That sudden stillness in your soul is not random. It is prophetic. It is the signature of divine ordering over your life like oil from above. Say now, this peace is my proof. This calm is my confirmation. This stillness is sacred. You are not crazy for feeling calm while everything around you looks the same. You are not wrong for trusting what the world cannot yet see. The miracle does not arrive with noise. It arrives with knowing. It does not come with fanfare. It comes with frequency, and that frequency is peace. Not the peace that comes after things are fixed, but the peace that comes before, the peace that defies evidence, the peace that is not waiting for facts, the peace that whispers, "It is already done." You are not imagining this calm. You are embodying the vibration of fulfillment. You are not shutting out fear. You are rising into law. You are not ignoring your circumstances. You are transcending them. The inner quiet, the lightness in your chest, the holy hush that covers your thoughts. That is heaven saying, you have entered the zone of answered prayer. You are no longer sending the signal of doubt. You are vibrating in receipt. Declare it now. I do not wait for peace. I dwell in it. I do not beg for peace. I become it. Peace is the language of spirit. It is the tone of answered prayer. It is the atmosphere of demonstration. You cannot fake it. You cannot force it. But when you align, it arrives. And when it does, let it speak to you. Let it hold you. Let it remind you. Something has shifted. Something has moved. You are now walking in the rhythm of what has already begun. The peace you feel is not relief. It is recognition. You have stepped into the current of creation. Most people search for peace after the evidence appears. But in divine law, peace precedes proof. Peace is not the result. Peace is the signal. When the mind quiets, when the body softens, when the soul exhales without needing a reason, that is when manifestation is closest, because you are no longer resisting, you are no longer striving, you are no longer praying from panic, you are receiving from presence. Say aloud, my calm is my calling, my peace is my pathway, my stillness is my certainty. You do not need to explain it. You do not need to justify it. You do not need the world to understand your peace. You only need to walk in it. Carry it like a banner. Let it go before you. Let it follow you. Let it vibrate through every word you speak. Because when you are still on the inside, the outside must follow. The law listens to vibration. The law responds to rhythm. And peace is the rhythm of fulfillment. Do not fear when you feel no need to push. Do not question when the urgency leaves. That is not laziness. That is alignment. You are not less passionate. You are more precise. You are not disconnected. You are deeply in tune. The pressure is gone because the path is open. The striving is silenced because the law has taken over. Your only job now is to stay in agreement with peace. Say it again, slowly. I walk in peace. I live in rhythm. I manifest from rest, not resistance. This is the secret most never learn. The demonstration doesn't come because you stressed over it. It comes when you release it in faith. When your energy says, I already have it, the field begins to obey. When your tone shifts from pleading to praising, the invisible starts to form. And the body knows. The body always knows. That is why you feel light. That is why your mind is no longer racing. That is why your sleep is deeper. Your breath is slower. Your presence is stronger. Peace is your confirmation. Let this be your decree. I trust what peace tells me. I believe what calm confirms. I allow what stillness brings. You are not doing nothing. You are doing the highest thing. Believing. You are not being passive. You are being powerful. Because peace is the place where miracles grow. Peace is the field where manifestation appears. When you dwell in peace, you vibrate like one who already has. And what you already have in spirit must appear in form. Say it now with holy rhythm. I rest in the knowing. I stand in the silence. I receive from the stillness. And so it is. You feel the pull, a strange, holy magnetism, a divine nudge in the quiet moments. You are not content with where you are, not because you are ungrateful, but because your spirit has heard the signal. The next chapter is calling. The next level is pulling. The future has begun whispering your name, and that whisper is not a fantasy. It is a frequency. It is the first breath of manifestation. You are not restless. You are ready. Say this aloud. I feel the pull because the promise is near. I feel the shift because the shape is forming. Do not mistake this stirring for confusion. It is alignment. Do not call this dissatisfaction rebellion. It is remembrance. Your soul knows more than your logic. Your being has registered the new season before your calendar has caught up. And so it begins. The stretch, the ache, the quiet thrill that something unseen is about to be seen. You are not broken. You are blooming. The discomfort you feel is not punishment. It is prophecy. It is the signal that the shell has outgrown the seed, that the nest can no longer hold the wings. You are sensing the approach of what has already been decreed. You are feeling the forward motion of what heaven has prepared. Spirit does not tease you with change. Spirit trains you for it, and this vibration, this holy unrest, is the training ground of transformation. Declare now, I welcome the pull. I honor the shift. I say yes to the unfolding. This is not the time to doubt your knowing. This is not the time to shrink back into logic. The ground beneath you is moving because something greater is emerging. The space is clearing. The old systems are shedding. The past is loosening its grip. Do not panic. Do not analyze. Do not resist. This is what spiritual promotion feels like before it arrives. You are walking into the demonstration your desire has prepared. There will be moments where nothing makes sense. Moments when the old no longer satisfies and the new has not yet appeared. But you are not lost in the middle. You are anchored in the birth canal of a miracle. This is not a void. This is a vortex. This is the moment when all things begin to converge. You are being repositioned by divine law. The same law that placed the stars is now arranging your next chapter. Say this slowly. I trust the pull. I move with the current. I release the old with gratitude. You are not waiting on signs. You are responding to them. You are not hoping for permission. You are moving in the divine yes. This vibration is not faint. It is firm. It will not go away because it is not a thought. It is a call. You are being summoned into the higher version of your life. And the moment you said yes in your spirit, The invisible began building the bridge. This is why you can't go back. This is why the old feels foreign. This is why your habits feel heavy, because you are not who you used to be. And what is coming cannot meet you in the mindset of yesterday. That ache to evolve is sacred. That desire to expand is divine. Do not silence it. Do not apologize for it. Let it lead you. Let it stretch you. Let it open the gates of what has long been held for you. Declare now, I am not who I was. I am becoming what I spoke. I am entering what I was promised. You are not alone in this stretch. The angels of arrangement have gone ahead of you. The spiritual architects have mapped the next chapter. The path is lit, even when you cannot see it. Your only task is to agree with the vibration. Your only job is to walk in rhythm. When you feel the pull, speak your yes. When you sense the shift, declare your readiness. When the current flows, step in. Say this again. I align with the new. I welcome the next. I follow the pull of divine timing. This is not impatience. This is preparation. This is not restlessness. This is readiness. The next manifestation is not far. It is forming. It is swirling in the unseen. It is orbiting your atmosphere. And the pull you feel is not just spiritual. It is cellular. It is a resonance between your soul and your future. And when you say yes to it, the law begins to accelerate. The pull is proof that you're in the presence of the promise. The ache is evidence that your manifestation is near. The vibration is not fantasy. It is form announcing itself through feeling. Let this be your decree. I do not doubt the pull. I do not fear the shift. I follow the current of creation. Say it once more with power and peace. I am aligned. I am ready. I am walking into my next by divine law, with divine ease, without delay. And so it is. Let us anchor this now, not in thought, not in theory, but in rhythm. Let the vibration seal it. Let the spirit confirm it. You are not standing at the edge of a wish. You are standing at the entrance of a reality. The signs have spoken. The frequency has aligned. The decree has been released. And the gates of manifestation are open. You are no longer waiting. You are walking. You are no longer asking. You are receiving. You are no longer circling the promise. You are no longer circling the promise. You are entering it with clarity, with authority, with spiritual boldness. The pull you felt was the announcement. The calm you carried was the confirmation. The sentence you spoke was the key. And now the law moves for you. Heaven does not hesitate when you align. The universe does not delay when you decree. Spirit does not withhold when you say yes in rhythm. And your yes has been spoken. Say this aloud now, not as hope, but as holy law. I am aligned. I am chosen. I am in motion. My desire is forming. My path is clear. My word is working. This is your spiritual atmosphere now. This is your daily decree. This is your new default vibration. You are not being tested. You are being trusted. And the more you stay faithful to the sentence, the more reality obeys your vibration. Let the old doubts dissolve. Let the past limitations fall away. You are not the same. You cannot return. You are ascending into the divine structure that has always been yours. And so it is. You may feel the wind change. You may feel the current rise, but do not fear. That is just the sound of your manifestation arriving. Keep your voice steady. Keep your decree alive. Keep your spirit open. You are the vessel. You are the speaker. You are the law in motion. The time is now. The field is ready. Speak, walk, receive. It is already done. And so it is.
There is a hidden law of life, a golden thread woven through the fabric of existence, that answers to the voice of faith. When words are spoken with certainty, they go forth clothed in power, and what they declare must return fulfilled. The universe is responsive, alive, and infinitely abundant, and it waits only for the word of command from the heart that knows its authority. Money is not a stranger, nor is it difficult to attract. It is a divine idea, circulating freely, seeking its rightful channel. Those who learn to align their thoughts and words with this truth find that prosperity flows like a river, unceasing, unstoppable, and entirely natural. A psalm is more than poetry. It is a spiritual decree, a timeless affirmation of divine law. And when spoken with conviction, it opens doors that seemed forever shut. To speak a psalm for 7 days with unwavering trust is to set in motion an unseen force that breaks limitation, dissolves lack, and calls forth supply from unexpected directions. 7 is the number of completion, of cycles fulfilled, of the perfect work of spirit. To speak for 7 days is to press the truth into the subconscious, impressing the law with the certainty of prosperity, until lack becomes unthinkable and abundance the only reality. When money seems far away, the error lies not in the outer world, but in the silent inner dialogue. Doubt, fear, and complaint weave shadows that block the radiant flow. Yet a psalm, spoken faithfully, clears the atmosphere of thought and floods it with divine certainty. It is like opening windows to let in sunlight, the gloom vanishes, and everything hidden comes alive with brightness. As words of truth are repeated, the mind grows still, the heart opens, and a new expectancy takes root. Prosperity begins to feel near, inevitable, even ordinary. And soon, money responds. It flows in with ease, in ways too marvelous to predict. For divine supply is never limited to the channels the mind imagines. One need not struggle, strain, or chase. The psalm, spoken in faith, does the work. It plants the seed in the soil of spirit, and spirit multiplies the seed beyond measure. The act of speaking for 7 days is a symbol of persistence, a refusal to accept appearances of lack. It is faith in action, trust that the invisible is more real than the visible, and that money, like air, is abundant, circulating, and ready to fill every need. Those who dare to try will find that the word is power, the psalm is the key, and 7 days of faith can overturn years of limitation. For money is not a problem, it is an idea of supply, ever present and waiting to be claimed. And as the psalm is spoken, again and again, the truth becomes flesh, and prosperity flows as naturally as breath itself. Words spoken in faith command the flow of money, for every syllable carries a vibration, and every vibration creates a result in the unseen. The tongue is a creative instrument, the bridge between thought and form, and when it speaks from the wellspring of faith, it becomes a mighty force that bends circumstances, opens doors, and summons abundance. Faith is the assurance that what is declared must come to pass, and when words are uttered with that assurance, they cannot fail. It is not the word alone that holds power, but the consciousness behind the word. The unwavering certainty that backs it like a divine current. When the two are united, word and faith, prosperity responds as surely as an echo answers a call. Money is not drawn by effort alone, nor by anxiety, calculation, or strain. It responds to the vibration of belief, to the word spoken with trust that supply is infinite and ever available. Many speak words of lack unconsciously, repeating phrases of fear and limitation, and so their life mirrors those declarations. They say, "I never have enough," and the universe obediently reflects it back. But when a new decree is spoken, a psalm of abundance, held firm in faith and never cancelled by doubt, the flow of money shifts, as though a hidden gate has swung open. The universe is listening, not with ears but with law. Law does not reason, it does not question, it only executes. When you speak with faith, you impress the law with certainty. And what is impressed must be expressed. A psalm recited for 7 days is not a superstition, but a spiritual exercise in persistence. A hammer of truth striking again and again until the walls of limitation crumble. Each repetition engraves the word deeper into consciousness, until faith grows strong and unshakable, and the word goes forth like an arrow, piercing appearances of lack and commanding the arrival of money in perfect ways. Consider the nature of faith. It is not mere hope, nor wishful thinking, but the deep knowing that the invisible supply is already present. To speak words in faith is to declare what is already true in spirit, calling it forth into the visible. You do not beg or plead for money, for begging implies separation and distance. You affirm its presence. You call it by name, you speak as one who knows, and so the word carries authority. Just as a king decrees and it is done. The soul that speaks in faith decrees prosperity, and the law of abundance obeys without hesitation. When words of faith are spoken, the subconscious mind becomes the soil in which the seed is planted. The subconscious does not argue, it accepts. It receives the word, waters it with emotion, and brings it forth into experience. To say, money flows to me easily and in perfect ways, with faith, is to plant the seed of financial freedom. To repeat it daily, without contradicting it with fear or complaint, is to nurture the seed until it grows into a harvest. The outer world cannot resist the inner command for long, it must align. For consciousness precedes form, and speech is the tool of consciousness. Those who doubt may look only at appearances and say, "But the money is not here." Yet appearances are but shadows of past words and beliefs. To focus on them is to chain yourself to yesterday's decrees. Faith speaks of what is true beyond appearances, and words spoken in that faith rewrite the script. Soon, the outer must bend, because the inner has been renewed. The law is impartial. It gives to each according to their spoken word, backed by belief. Speak limitation with conviction, and limitation comes. Speak abundance with conviction, and abundance flows. Money is not a cold material object but a symbol of circulation, energy in motion. It seeks channels, it seeks expression, and it answers to the one who calls it with authority. Words of faith are the magnet, drawing money not through toil alone, but through synchronicity, ideas, opportunities, and channels unforeseen. Many labor heavily yet speak words of fear, and so their harvest is small. Others speak words of faith and find that opportunities arrive effortlessly, doors swing wide, and money appears from directions never imagined. This is not chance but law. The spoken word, charged with faith, creates currents in the unseen that draw substance into form. Imagine the spoken word as a key turning in a lock. The lock is not outside you, but within. The barrier of unbelief, the door of doubt. When you speak with faith, the key turns smoothly, the lock opens, and the flow of money, already present in spirit, pours forth into visibility. If you speak without faith, the key does not turn, and the door remains closed. No matter how often you knock, it is the faith behind the word that commands, the faith that says, "It is already done. It is already mine." To cultivate this, the repetition of a psalm is a sacred act. Each time you speak it, you train the mind to accept abundance as natural, to release the old language of lack, to breathe in the truth of supply. Faith grows with use, like a muscle exercised daily. At first, the words may feel like mere phrases, but as you persist, they sink deeper, they take root, and soon they feel like truth itself. And when the subconscious accepts them as truth, the outer must align, for the law cannot be broken. Thus, words spoken in faith are not idle sounds. They are commands issued to the universe, decrees that money must obey. They are the proclamation of abundance, the declaration of dominion over fear, the song of prosperity sung into existence. Speak them once with doubt, and they are weak. Speak them again and again with faith, and they gather strength until nothing can resist their fulfillment. Money is not persuaded by worry, nor by desperation, but by the word of authority, the word that knows its power, the word that flows from faith. A psalm is a decree of divine abundance, spoken from the heart of spirit into the fabric of life, a declaration that transcends ordinary speech and touches the eternal law that governs supply. It is not simply a verse to be read or a ritual to be performed. It is a proclamation of truth that overrides appearances of lack and announces the presence of infinite riches. To recite a psalm is to align the self with a vibration of power older than time, a rhythm that moves through the unseen and shapes the scene. Each word is charged with the essence of divine law, and when spoken with faith, it commands matter, circumstances, and opportunity to obey. The power of a psalm rests not in its poetry alone, but in its vibration, the resonance it awakens within the soul. When the words are spoken, they stir the subconscious, awaken dormant faith, and attune the mind to the higher law of supply. They lift thought from limitation into certainty, from fear into knowing, from complaint into gratitude. A psalm carries with it the weight of authority, for it is not a plea to a distant source, but a reminder of what is already true, that abundance is ever present, limitless, and waiting to be recognized. When you speak a psalm, you are not asking for wealth to be created. You are commanding wealth to manifest from the infinite storehouse already prepared. A decree is not a suggestion, nor is it a wish. It is a word of authority, spoken with the assurance that it cannot fail. The psalm acts as this decree, a verbal scepter in the hands of one who knows their dominion. It is the language of the king declaring sovereignty, the language of spirit affirming its birthright. To decree divine abundance is to stand firm in truth, refusing to acknowledge lack as reality, refusing to allow fear to dictate, and declaring boldly that money, supply, and opportunity are flowing now. This decree does not linger in the air as empty sound. It sets in motion the law of circulation, which always answers to the spoken word. Every psalm carries within it divine ideas, ideas of plenty, of guidance, of protection, of overflowing good. When you speak these words, they do not remain external, they take root within consciousness, and consciousness is the soil in which manifestation grows. You impress the subconscious with the truth that abundance is natural, that supply is near, that there is no scarcity in spirit. As the subconscious accepts this truth, it shapes the outer world accordingly, arranging circumstances, drawing people, opening channels, and releasing money into visible form. The psalm is the decree that stamps this law onto the inner mind, ensuring that the outer life cannot help but reflect it. The act of speaking a psalm is a sacred transaction. You give your words, and in return the law gives manifestation. You sow with your lips, and you reap with your life. The decree is the seed, the subconscious is the soil, and abundance is the inevitable harvest. Just as one who plants wheat cannot reap thorns, one who decrees abundance cannot reap lack. The harvest is determined by the seed, and the psalm ensures that only seeds of prosperity, confidence, and divine certainty are planted. To repeat the psalm is to water the seed daily, to keep it alive, to protect it from the weeds of doubt and fear. Money is one form of abundance, but the decree of a psalm reaches beyond money into all expressions of prosperity. It commands harmony in affairs, success in endeavors, opportunities that seem to appear as if by miracle. Yet money itself flows naturally when the decree is spoken. Because money is an obedient servant of consciousness, it has no will of its own, it follows the word. If the decree is one of shortage, money obeys and withdraws. If the decree is one of plenty, money obeys and flows. The psalm ensures that the decree is always aligned with plenty, never with lack. There are those who read psalms mechanically, reciting without faith, and for them the words seem empty. But when the psalm is spoken with conviction, it is alive, electric, unstoppable. The decree is not in the letters on the page, but in the spirit with which they are uttered. When spoken as truth, each phrase is a sword cutting through illusion, each sentence a key opening the vault of abundance. The psalm is both shield and weapon, guarding against fear and striking down limitation. It does not beg, it declares. It does not waver, it commands. In every age, seekers of prosperity have found refuge in the Psalms, because they carry this hidden code of decree. They align the speaker with divine certainty and turn the tide of circumstance. They shift the atmosphere of thought, and when thought shifts, matter must follow. The psalm is a decree that cannot be reversed, because once spoken in faith, it enters the law, and the law fulfills. No obstruction can stand against it, no delay can cancel it, for the decree of abundance carries with it the authority of spirit itself. When you take a psalm upon your lips and speak it as a decree, you step into your role as co-creator with the divine. You no longer see yourself as a beggar at the gates of wealth, but as a rightful heir to infinite supply. You stand in the center of power, declaring that money, success, and prosperity must answer your call. The decree becomes a vibration that radiates outward, touching people, places, and opportunities, drawing them into alignment with your spoken word. It travels through the unseen, arranging the scene, until the visible life reflects the invisible truth you have declared. A psalm is more than comfort, more than inspiration. It is the decree of divine abundance spoken into the law of life, and the law has no choice but to obey. Each time you speak it, You reinforce your dominion, you establish your authority, and you write prosperity into the fabric of your experience. The decree echoes through consciousness, resounds through the universe, and returns as visible wealth, perfect timing, and overflowing good. It is the eternal reminder that abundance is not distant, not scarce, not withheld, but present, plentiful, and waiting for the decree that calls it forth. Money is a divine idea, not a struggle, for it was never meant to be pursued with fear, anxiety, or endless toil. It exists as a symbol of supply, a tool through which the abundance of spirit flows into visible form. To see money as a struggle is to misunderstand its nature, to mistake the shadow for the substance. Money is not the source, it is the channel. The true source is infinite, limitless, and eternal, and it flows through money as easily as through health, love, peace, or opportunity. When one realizes that money is an idea born in divine mind, it ceases to be something distant, difficult, or scarce, and becomes as natural as air, as inevitable as the rising of the sun. The struggle begins only when fear of lack takes hold. When one imagines money as separate from the divine, and therefore difficult to obtain. This false belief drives people to chase, compete, and exhaust themselves in pursuit of what was already theirs by divine right. They labor under the illusion that money is hard, that it belongs only to a few, that it must be taken by force or secured through constant worry. Yet all the while, the law of supply waits for recognition, ready to pour forth the moment resistance is dissolved. Money flows not through strain but through recognition, not through desperation but through alignment with the truth that supply is ever present. A divine idea cannot be limited, and money, as such an idea, is limitless in potential. Every coin, every note, every channel of wealth is but one expression of the infinite substance of spirit. The forms may change. One era brings gold, another paper, another digital currency, but the idea remains unchanged. It is abundance made visible, circulating, moving, serving as the symbol of divine provision. To cling to the form and forget the idea is to miss the essence. Those who know the truth can never fear the disappearance of one form, for they understand that the idea itself is eternal and will always produce new forms as needed. The struggle disappears when money is seen as circulation rather than possession. It is not something to hoard or fear losing, but something to allow, to let flow, to release and receive. Just as blood must circulate to give life, money must circulate to express abundance. Hoarding from fear blocks the current, just as clenching the fist blocks the hand from receiving. But when money is viewed as a divine idea, its flow becomes effortless, for ideas cannot be exhausted. The more freely they are expressed, the more they multiply. To give with joy is to prove the law, to let the current move without resistance, and in return, the flow increases. Struggle arises only in the belief of separation, the thought that one is cut off from the source, that money depends solely on personal effort or chance. But no one can ever be separated from the divine mind, for it is the very breath within. The idea of money originates there, and to align with it is to step into effortless provision. The one who knows money as a divine idea does not fear recession, inflation, or loss, for they understand that outer conditions cannot erase what exists eternally in the unseen. Conditions shift, but ideas remain, and divine ideas always find expression. To live in this truth is to view money not as a master, but as a servant. It was never intended to enslave or dominate, but to serve as a medium of exchange, a symbol of trust, a tool for the circulation of good. When one makes money a master, the struggle begins, for the servant is placed on the throne. But when money is restored to its rightful place as a divine idea, peace returns, and the struggle ends. It flows naturally to those who use it rightly, who honor its role as an instrument of circulation, who recognize it as one of many ways abundance manifests. Money as an idea is also creative, responding to thought, imagination, and faith. Just as an architect sees a building first in thought before it rises in stone, the one aligned with abundance sees prosperity first in consciousness before it appears in form. The decree spoken in faith becomes the blueprint, And money flows as one of the materials, summoned to bring the design into reality. To struggle is to forget the blueprint and attempt to build with random scraps. To know money as a divine idea is to trust that the supply of material always matches the design of faith. Every divine idea carries within it the power of multiplication. A seed is an idea of life, and within it lies the power to become a tree, bearing countless more seeds. Money as an idea works the same. It does not diminish by being used, it multiplies through circulation. One coin spent in faith may return as 10, one act of generosity may open doors to abundance unimagined. To believe money is scarce is to block this multiplication, to see only the single seed and forget the forest it contains. To believe money is a divine idea is to trust the forest is already within the seed, and to act accordingly with confidence. Struggle also arises from comparison, the false belief that abundance is limited and must be taken from another in order to be enjoyed. Yet money as a divine idea knows no such limitation. The supply is infinite, tailored perfectly to each soul's purpose, flowing in perfect measure to each who aligns with it. There is no competition in divine law, no scarcity of ideas, no shortage of supply. The ocean does not ration its waves, the sun does not limit its light, and spirit does not restrict abundance. Money, flowing as a divine idea, is no less infinite than these. To embody this truth is to approach money with calm assurance, to see it not as a weight of struggle but as a current of freedom. It is not something to fear or chase, but something to trust, to welcome, to release, and to receive again. When money is viewed as a divine idea, the frantic grasping ceases, and the natural rhythm of circulation is restored. Prosperity then becomes a dance, not a fight, a harmony, not a burden. The divine idea sustains itself, nourishes itself, expresses itself, and those who align with it are lifted out of struggle into ease. Faith dissolves fear and clears the channel of supply. For fear is the great obstruction, the cloud that veils the ever-present abundance waiting to flow. Fear whispers of loss, of scarcity, of failure. And the mind that listens begins to build barriers against its own good. Faith is the light that scatters this shadow, the fire that melts the ice of doubt, the cleansing current that opens the way for prosperity to move freely and unhindered. Where fear contracts, faith expands. Where fear says not enough, faith declares more than enough. Where fear blocks the door, faith throws it wide open. And through that opening the riches of spirit pour without limit. Fear is born of illusion, of mistaking appearances for truth. When the bank account appears empty, fear rushes in to say that supply is gone. When opportunities seem scarce, fear insists that doors are closed. Yet these are only shadows, the residue of old beliefs, the outpicturing of thoughts long past. Faith looks beyond the shadow to the eternal substance behind it, to the invisible storehouse that cannot be exhausted. Faith does not argue with appearances, nor does it deny their existence, it simply refuses to be ruled by them. It sees with the eye of spirit, and in that vision, the supply is already present, waiting to break through into form. Every channel of abundance is clogged by fear. The one who fears loss holds tightly, clutching money as though its presence ensures safety, and in that clutching, the flow stops. The one who fears lack speaks words of worry, and those words create walls that block prosperity. The one who fears failure hesitates, delays, and refuses to act, and so opportunities pass by untouched. Fear creates stagnation, a dam in the river of supply. But faith is the command to let the river run. It is the assurance that the source is greater than any appearance, that the supply is infinite, that abundance knows no obstruction except the walls of thought. As those walls dissolve, the river flows again, and what seemed dry becomes fertile with riches. Faith is not mere optimism, nor blind hope, but the deep knowing that abundance is real, present, and responsive. It is the recognition that the universe is orderly, that divine law governs with precision, that good cannot be withheld from the one who aligns with it. Faith is the anchor in truth, the stance of certainty, the refusal to entertain any suggestion of lack. And in this certainty, the channels of supply are cleared, because the subconscious responds to conviction. When you speak words of faith, the subconscious accepts them, imprints them, and shapes the outer world accordingly. Fear cannot survive in the atmosphere of such conviction. It dissolves like mist under the rising sun. The one who cultivates faith begins to see evidence of supply everywhere. A chance encounter, a sudden idea, an unexpected gift, all are recognized as channels through which the law fulfills itself. Fear would dismiss these as coincidences, as too small to matter, but faith sees them as signs of the great river flowing. And as gratitude rises for these tokens, the flow increases, for gratitude is the hand that gathers more. Fear complains and repels, faith blesses and attracts. Thus, by shifting from fear to faith, one shifts from blockage to circulation, from contraction to expansion, from scarcity to abundance. Fear often disguises itself as caution, as logic, as realism. It says, "Be careful, there is not enough," or "Prepare for loss, it is inevitable." But these voices are only echoes of the past, patterns ingrained by repetition, beliefs that no longer serve. Faith, on the other hand, speaks with clarity and authority. There is always enough, for supply is infinite, loss cannot touch the source. My abundance comes not from circumstances, but from divine law. To choose faith is to step out of the prison built by these false voices and into the freedom of truth. And in that freedom, the channels of supply open wide. Faith is magnetic. It draws supply as surely as iron draws to the magnet. The energy of faith radiates assurance, and the universe responds by sending evidence of abundance. Others sense it too, often without realizing why. Doors open more easily, people offer opportunities, wealth seems to find its way. Fear repels, scattering the current, sending confusion into the atmosphere. Faith gathers, harmonizes, focuses the current, and in that focus prosperity appears. To live in faith is to carry an atmosphere of abundance wherever you go, and in that atmosphere, money and supply naturally respond. When fear arises, as it often will, the remedy is to speak the word of faith. Words have power to shift vibration, to clear the inner channel. Saying aloud, "I live in abundance, my supply is secure, all that I need flows to me now," spoken with conviction, dissolves the creeping shadow of lack. Repetition reinforces the truth until fear loses its grip entirely. The act of speaking is not mere comfort, it is command. The subconscious hears. The law responds, the universe obeys. Fear cannot withstand the steady decree of faith, and so the channels are kept open, the river keeps moving. The supply continues to flow. Faith is also action. It does not sit idle, waiting for proof. It steps forward, trusting that the way will appear. Fear hesitates, waiting for certainty before moving, and in the hesitation, opportunities pass. Faith moves, and in the moving, doors appear. Resources arise, provision arrives. The act of faith is the clearing of the channel in motion, the refusal to let fear paralyze or delay. Each step taken in faith is like removing another stone from the riverbed, allowing the current to run more freely. Soon the flow becomes so strong that it cannot be stopped, and prosperity pours forth in abundance. The practice of faith is continual. It must be chosen again and again, for fear will attempt to return, whispering of danger, pointing to appearances. Yet each time faith is chosen, the habit of abundance grows stronger, and the hold of fear weakens. The mind becomes trained to expect supply, to anticipate provision, to assume abundance. And what the mind expects, the law fulfills. Faith becomes natural, the normal stance of thought, and fear fades into irrelevance. The channel, once clogged with worry and doubt, runs clear and open, and the supply flows steadily, without interruption. Prosperity flows through unexpected doors, for the channels through which abundance comes are never limited to the small paths the human mind imagines. When one thinks supply must arrive only through a salary, an investment, or a business, the mind builds walls around the infinite, confining the limitless flow of spirit to narrow corridors. Yet divine law knows no such restriction. The supply already exists in countless forms, waiting for recognition, and it moves into visibility by paths so surprising, so precise that no human planning could have devised them. Prosperity often appears where it was least expected, through doors that seemed invisible, until the moment they opened. proving again that the divine is never bound by limitation, and that money flows by law, not by chance. The unexpected door is often the proof of divine order. A closed door is not the end but the preparation for one greater. What appears as a loss, a disappointment, or a delay is often the turning of attention away from the narrow path and toward a wider one. A job may end, a deal may collapse, a plan may fail, yet from that seeming emptiness a new opportunity arises, richer and more perfect than the one imagined. Faith sees beyond the surface, refusing to mourn the closing of one way, trusting that the law never subtracts without multiplying. The unexpected door opens at the precise moment needed, carrying with it the evidence that prosperity flows from the infinite, not from the limited. Prosperity has countless messengers. Sometimes it arrives as money itself, sometimes as an idea, sometimes as a person with a word, a gift, or a connection that changes everything. A thought comes in a moment of silence, a creative spark that blossoms into wealth. A conversation overheard leads to opportunity. A chance meeting becomes the channel for provision. These are not accidents but orchestrations of law, the unseen arranging the scene, aligning people and circumstances to fulfill the decree spoken in faith. The mind that insists prosperity can come only one way often overlooks these messengers, but the mind open to unexpected doors recognizes them instantly and welcomes them. The divine delights in variety. The same river may find 100 paths to the sea, bending around obstacles, splitting into tributaries, carving new courses. Prosperity works the same. If one channel is blocked, it simply flows another way, finding new doors, creating new passages, moving where there was no path before. To insist supply must arrive through one channel is to dam the river, but to release expectation and trust the law is to let the river run freely, winding as it will, always finding its way. The unexpected door is the river's proof that nothing can stop its flow. Those who cling to rigid expectations often miss the very supply they seek. They wait for money from one source, blind to the opportunities arising all around. They pray for abundance, but reject the idea that it could arrive in a new form. Faith loosens this rigidity. Faith knows that the channel is not the source, and therefore any channel can be used. Faith declares the supply secure and allows the law to choose the door. This openness makes the mind receptive, alert, ready to recognize the prosperity that may appear as an unplanned invitation, a sudden inspiration, a gift from an unlikely person, or a door that was invisible until the moment it swung wide. Often the unexpected door is perfectly timed. What appears as delay is in truth alignment. The right channel was not yet prepared, the right people were not yet in place, the right idea was not yet ripe. Then suddenly, at the appointed moment, the door opens effortlessly, and prosperity flows in such abundance that it erases the memory of waiting. The delay proves to have been part of the design, a period of preparation. Fear sees delay as denial, but faith knows delay is often divine timing. The arranging of the perfect channel, so that when the door opens, everything flows smoothly and abundantly. Prosperity may also come through transformation of perception. The unexpected door may not be a new opportunity at all, but the realization that what seemed ordinary was already a channel of wealth. A skill long taken for granted reveals itself as valuable. A relationship thought casual becomes a key to success. A resource overlooked suddenly shines with potential. Faith trains the eyes to see anew, to recognize channels hidden in plain sight. Prosperity does not always arrive as something foreign. Often it is simply the unveiling of what was already present, waiting for recognition. The law of circulation ensures that what is given returns, often through channels far different from where it was sent. A gift given in one place may return multiplied from another. Help offered to one person may be rewarded through an entirely different source. Generosity opens doors unseen, setting in motion currents that circle back in unexpected ways. Fear insists the return must come from the one who received. But faith knows the return may come from any door, at any time, in greater measure than imagined. The unexpected door is often the return of a seed sown long before, blossoming suddenly into visible prosperity. The unexpected door is also the mark of freedom, the proof that one's prosperity is not dependent on any single person, employer, or circumstance. Those who believe they are bound to one channel live in fear, worried that if it closes, supply will vanish. But when the unexpected door opens, it demonstrates that the source is infinite and cannot be confined. The job, the client, the business, the investment, these are only channels. If one closes, another opens, and the flow continues. To know this truth is to live without fear, free from dependence, confident that prosperity is secure because it flows through law, not through chance. Miracles of provision often come disguised as the ordinary, yet behind them is the extraordinary orchestration of law. A bill arrives and is paid unexpectedly. A long-forgotten debt is repaid. A door thought closed forever suddenly opens. A talent once dismissed becomes the foundation of wealth. These are the signs of the unexpected door. The evidence that prosperity is not a struggle but a flow, not a chase but a reception. The law of abundance arranges channels, far beyond the mind's capacity to predict, and faith makes the heart ready to recognize them when they appear. The spoken word multiplies beyond measure, for every declaration released into the atmosphere of spirit is a seed cast into infinite soil, where it cannot fail to grow and expand. Words are not empty sounds, they are containers of vibration, charged with the energy of belief, carrying within them the pattern of the reality they describe. When a word is spoken with faith, it goes forth with creative power, joining with the unseen law that always brings forth after its kind. A single decree of prosperity, sincerely spoken, may set in motion a chain of events that multiply into streams of wealth and opportunity, far beyond the scope of the original thought. Just as a single acorn holds within it an entire forest, so does a single word of truth hold within it infinite supply. The law of the spoken word is multiplication. What is spoken once may echo in the subconscious, shaping thought and action, influencing decisions, creating connections. Speak it again, and the echo grows stronger, layering impression upon impression, until the subconscious accepts it as truth. Once accepted, it reproduces the pattern outwardly, and the results appear multiplied. The law never returns void. Every word spoken is a cause, and every cause bears fruit. The harvest may not appear instantly, but the word, once sown, is already working in the invisible, germinating, expanding, preparing to manifest. When words are charged with emotion, the multiplication accelerates. Fearful words multiply fear, drawing more experiences of lack and loss. Words of faith multiply faith, drawing evidence of abundance and provision. The subconscious does not argue. It simply accepts the strongest impressions given to it. Thus the one who constantly speaks lack multiplies lack, while the one who faithfully speaks abundance multiplies abundance. The difference is not in the external conditions, but in the seed sown through the spoken word. The soil of the subconscious is fertile for both weeds and wheat. It grows what is planted, whether deliberately or carelessly. The multiplication of the spoken word is also exponential. It does not simply add, it multiplies. One declaration may influence not only the speaker, but all who hear it, planting seeds in their consciousness as well. Words of faith spoken in a household can transform the atmosphere of the entire home, lifting thought, dissolving fear, opening channels of prosperity. Words of faith spoken in a community can ripple outward, creating movements, opportunities, and connections far beyond the speaker's reach. Every declaration sends vibrations into the invisible, and those vibrations intersect with countless others, drawing together conditions that fulfill the decree. The power of multiplication is seen in the smallest examples. A simple affirmation spoken daily can transform a life completely. A phrase like, "Money flows to me freely and abundantly," may seem small. Yet when spoken with conviction, it begins to reshape the subconscious. The subconscious then directs action, influences perception, and attracts circumstances that align with the affirmation. Soon one opportunity appears, then another, until the flow becomes undeniable. The single phrase multiplies into visible wealth, not by force but by law. This is the mystery of multiplication, the smallest seed, faithfully sown, produces a harvest far greater than itself. Multiplication also follows the principle of circulation. The word spoken is like money given. It does not diminish by being released but increases. Words of blessing return as blessings multiplied. Words of gratitude return as experiences multiplied to be grateful for. Words of generosity return as channels of generosity flowing back. The one who speaks positively about money invites more of it. The one who blesses another's prosperity multiplies their own. The law is impartial. It magnifies whatever is sound. Words of envy, criticism, or complaint return multiplied in kind, just as words of faith, joy, and abundance return multiplied in their kind. The choice of word is the choice of harvest. The spoken word also sets spiritual law into motion, and spiritual law always operates through channels of multiplication. A farmer who plants one seed does not expect one grain but hundreds, perhaps thousands. Likewise, the one who speaks a single decree should not expect a single return, but a multiplied one. The law of abundance is generous, never stingy, always overflowing. The word sown into this law cannot return in small measure, it returns pressed down, shaken together, running over. This is the guarantee of multiplication, that the spoken word once released returns in greater measure than it was given. Often the multiplication appears in ways the mind could not predict. A word of faith spoken about money may return, not as cash alone, but as opportunities, relationships, ideas, and channels that ultimately produce far more wealth than imagined. The mind may expect a certain result, but the law always exceeds expectation, returning not just what was spoken but multiplied, expanded, magnified. The unexpectedness of the return is part of the proof that the spoken word has power. For the result often arrives by means the intellect could never have devised. The atmosphere created by words also multiplies. A person who speaks abundance consistently develops an aura of prosperity. Others sense it, often unconsciously, and are drawn to them. They are offered opportunities, entrusted with responsibility, included in ventures. This atmosphere is itself the product of multiplied words, each declaration building upon the last, creating a vibration so strong that it radiates outward. The spoken word thus not only multiplies into circumstances but into presence, shaping how others perceive and respond, which in turn creates more opportunities for prosperity to flow. The principle of multiplication can be seen in reverse as well, which is why careless words are so costly. To say, "I cannot afford it," plants a seed of lack that may multiply into many experiences of shortage. To declare, "Money is hard to get," plants a seed that may multiply into endless struggle. The law does not judge, it multiplies impartially. It brings forth whatever is sound. This is why faith must guide the tongue, why the word must be watched carefully, why the decree must be aligned with truth. Every word multiplies, and the harvest will always match the seed. The multiplication of the spoken word is infinite, because it draws not only from personal consciousness, but from the infinite reservoir of divine mind. Words are not merely personal affirmations, they are alignments with universal principles. When one speaks abundance, they are not creating abundance out of nothing, they are opening themselves to the infinite abundance already present. The word multiplies because it taps into infinity, and infinity cannot be exhausted. The more it is spoken, the more it flows, the more it expands, for the source has no limit. Would you like me to weave even more imagery of seed, harvest, and scriptural echoes into this keynote to stretch it fully to a 1,000+ word density, or keep the current rhythm consistent with the earlier expansions?